It's Press Pass with Jack Ebling, Mid-Michigan's spirited sports debate. Now let's get talking sports. Here's Jack.
Great evening, Mid-Michigan and beyond, and welcome to Press Pass. On Fox 47, it's time to meet Team 277. Tom Crawford, my longtime radio partner, Bluebelly Tom, and he is co-host of The Drive with Jack and Tom, weekdays from 3 to 6 on the Spotlight Radio Network, heard worldwide at jackandtom.com. How are you, Tom?
I'm doing terrific. A little blurry-eyed. Watched a lot of NFL games this weekend. I guess it pays to be the home team, right? That's
Absolutely.
why you earn that, right? And 4 for 4 on that. So a lot of great action. And the Patriots, wow. I didn't see that coming.
We are there, sports radio and television, and you had enough confidence in the Wolverines you could be with us tonight. Sounds like they're functioning without you.
Doing all right. Yeah, as we speak right now, I think they're going to be okay. So we'll see what happens. They don't play again until, I guess, next Saturday at Wisconsin. That could be a tough one, though.
It wasn't for Purdue, but
that's
we'll get to that a little bit later. Also want to welcome Darian Harris, 5-year MSU linebacker, co-captain of the 2015 Big Ten champions, graduate student last semester. He is an aspiring athletic director and new brand ambassador for Big B Coffee. How's that working out?
It's working out really well. It's just one of those situations, Spartans helping Spartans was the way I was able to land that job, so it's been fantastic. But I tell you, there are some Spartan fans out there that aren't too happy about certain situations going on in the Scandalairs building, but I've been trying to keep everybody calm and even-keeled and trying to explain this side of it so everybody can kind of get a chance to understand what's going on in the building and the psyche of Coach Mark D'Antonio.
The voice of calm and reason. We're going to get the players' perspective a little bit later. Also want to welcome in Doug Warren. He is Director of Sports Programming for the Spotlight Radio Network. He is producer of The Drive with Jack and Tom and host of Lions Today, weekdays from 2 to 3. And watching a lot of football action this weekend?
Yep, absolutely. And like Tom, I'm a little bit buggy-eyed, but we had a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to the championship games next weekend.
I asked you a question before we started, while we were having some sound adjustments here, about the team that you think least likely to win the Super Bowl. Did you come up with one?
Yeah, I still have to go with the Patriots. It's tough, especially after the way they played today. But of the 4 teams left, I would be most surprised if they did win it.
I'll tell you, the one doubting Thomas is not named Brady. He is very optimistic about this team.
Right.
He said, you might all think we suck, but we don't. We're back. We're going to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun next week.
Oh, next Sunday night. Crazy.
And the early game, the NFC game, is here on Fox 47, 3:05 start. Looking forward to a big week with Conference Championship Sunday. We'll be right back, and we're going to talk about coaching staff shifts, changes in college football, including Michigan State and Michigan. We'll be right back with our Going Green segment up next.
With the David Chapman Agency, auto owners insurance policies come with something extra. Local agents who care about you. Our agents will help you find the right coverage at the best price. 3 generations serving you at the David Chapman Agency, your local auto owners insurance agents.
Hi, I'm Realtor Brock Fletcher from the selling team with Keller Williams. Mid-Michigan homeowners who sell their homes with us get an average of 98% of their asking price and sell their home in an average of 28 days. Call us today at 517-853-6408.
Now is the perfect time to have an American Metal roof installed. You'll beat the spring backlog and save half on installation. Plus, get a free Snow Country trim package. Call American Metal Roofs or visit
AmericanMetalRoofs.com. Catch the savings at Capital Honda. New 2018 Honda Accord LX, just $249 a month. Or new 2018 Honda Civic LX, only $169 a month. Just like your favorite team does it, we're going all out because you should be driving a Honda from Capital Honda.
When it comes to health insurance, what's your plan? Mine's Physicians Health Plan, and for good reason. PHP is right here in mid-Michigan, so if I'm looking for a new doctor or managing my meds, I like that I can just stop by their office if I have any questions. They're always there to help, and that's reassuring. So is the fact that they cover me across an entire network of providers. They've got me covered. Physicians Health Plan. Everything you want a health plan to be.
Get the lowdown from TMZ, weeknights at 7 on My 47.4.
The Frosts, they want Lauren. She's getting stronger. What's going on?
The Inner Circle just sent a hit team.
What? She has to join us, or she has to die.
An all-new Gifted at its new time this Tuesday on Fox.
The Knapp Center is a historical hub for future business growth in beautiful downtown Lansing.
The Ide Company did the best they could to preserve the integrity of the history of this building while incorporating a modern, open workspace.
They have been prompt, they have been efficient, and they really are a friendly, great group of people that we don't have any concerns about calling them for any of our needs.
Opportunities for retail, office, restaurant, and residential. Build the future as a member of the Ide Company family.
Hello, my name is Dr. John Braccio, psychologist. If you or your child have problems with focus, inattention, sitting still, memory, concentration, these are traits of ADHD. Visit us at drjohnb.com.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. Time for a Going Green segment brought to you by Graf Chevrolet, trusted friend with 105 years in the automobile business. Stop and see Matt, Mark, and Greg on West Grand River and Okemos. They'll take great care of you as they have on all 6 of my leases and purchases. Go green, go Graf.
So we're going to shake up the offensive side of things. I do that for a number of reasons, and I'll be happy to answer a couple questions after that. But Brad Salem moved to offensive coordinator. Dave Warner will step away from that position and coach our quarterbacks, which obviously he's had tremendous success coaching our quarterbacks here early in 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Jim Bowman will return to the offensive line, that's his career expertise. Mark Staten will move to tight ends and will coordinate our special teams. Then Don Treadwell will move to the wide receivers. And Tread obviously been a coordinator at Cincinnati for us when I was there, and then came here, was a coordinator in 7, 8, 9, 10. Terrence Samuels will move to coaching the secondary along with Paul Hayes, the assistant secondary coach.
That's Michigan State head coach Mark D'Antonio late Thursday afternoon. Darian Harris, no one knows the Michigan State assistant coaches better than the players who have been with them on a daily basis. Did Mark D'Antonio do enough with this staff shuffling when most people wanted new blood, if not a public bloodletting?
Yeah, I think he did. I mean, I think he did more than we thought he was going to do in the first place. So that to me just says that he understands that there was a need for change, and he was able to make a change within his own organization. Look, I think I love the way he put it. If you bring somebody in from the outside, whether you waited 2 months to do it or waited a day to do it, you don't know if that person's going to fit the culture that's already been slated in Michigan State. And he doesn't want to change the culture. And to me, culture has nothing to do with scheme on the field and, you know, opening up to a spread offense or things of that nature. So he reshuffled his staff. He's just going to move somebody that understands the culture into a new role, and then they're going to roll from there. And I think it was a great move.
How many people have you talked off the ledge in the last 74 hours?
Hopefully as many as possible. I'm sure that that percentage is not as high as I want it to be because sometimes it doesn't matter what we say as former players or people that know Coach D and know this program. People are going to have their own opinion. You know, it's always different depending on what perspective you're in. You know, people always say, wait till you have kids. You're going to see it from a different perspective. This is the same thing. You know, and for some of these people, they're never going to get that opportunity to be in that role that Coach D'Antonio's in. You see things from a different perspective.
Very few ever are.
Exactly.
Doug Warren, you had a pretty strong opinion that Mark D'Antonio's moves were a bad solution, if not a bad joke. Mm-hmm. Why?
Well, I think that it's simple. This offense, the staff has been failing. The offense has been trending down statistically and to the eye test for the last 3 years, ever since the 38-0 loss in the college football playoff. And just to shuffle a staff around and to bring in no new blood, no new ideas, I think it's an insult to the intelligence of the fans and the people who fund this program, the people with the Spartan Fund and everything else, the ones that paid $10,000 for a parking spot in front of the stadium. To me, I'll believe that this is a good move when I see results on the field, because I have no confidence that this is going to do anything but just maintain the status quo, which is about a 500 record since the last 3 seasons.
Tom Crawford, I think we've heard both sides. Maybe in the middle there's something. We're going to know in a year, right?
in this thing.
All right. Let's shift 63 miles down the road.
Okay.
And a lot of developments this week, including 2 assistants leaving for an arch rival.
Yeah.
And then Michigan getting an offensive coordinator who has not called plays before from Alabama.
Yeah.
Pretty good program.
Yeah, Josh Gaddis, you're talking about.
What do you make of those 3 moves?
Well, Al Washington, Greg Madison leaving Michigan, Ryan Day plucks them. I mean, that's a big core recruiting prowess down in the state of Ohio, where Michigan made some really good inroads. And so, but in the opposite of what Mark D'Antonio is dealing with, I mean, Harbaugh is forced to have turnover because guys leave, So, and I think Gaddis will be a good addition. A great mind. He's young. And the whole key thing, are you going to let him steer the steering wheel without grabbing a hand on the steering wheel? I'm talking about Jim Harbaugh right here. Will he allow to do that? That's going to be the issue. That's what I think needs to have happen. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Darian, I think it's unfair for players who sign. They sign letters based on relationships with position coaches, with area recruiters, and then when they leave, those players are stuck there, maybe in situations they don't want. Tom, do you think players should be released from scholarships at that point?
Absolutely, because this is not what you signed up for. So either you're regional, the guy that recruited you in the region of the country that build a relationship, or the position you're going to be playing for. I mean, I just think that's just common sense. I don't understand why they don't allow that to sign off on that, and you can look at other opportunities.
When position coaches shift and you get a new voice in the room, it's not a new coach in the staff, but new style of teaching, new message. What can that mean?
I think it means a lot, just because the amount of time you spend with your position coach is really all of your time. When I'm there with Coach Tressel, I'm not spending time with Coach Barnett. I'm not seeing it from another side. So I think that shuffle right there, you are going to get a brand new voice in the room. You're going to get things from a different perspective. And kind of like you said with Coach Harbaugh, what he's going to have to do, bringing a new guy in, Coach D'Antonio is going to have to do the same thing. Step back, allow Salem to run it, and see what happens.
Like Mitch McConnell and Chuck Schumer here with these two. We'll be right back in just a minute talking about the College Football Championship.
Anyone who's had our chicken knows it's plump and juicy. What they may not know is that it's also 100% natural.
All our chickens are certified, humanely raised, no antibiotics, on a high-quality diet of soy and grain.
Why are they called tenders?
They're called tenders because they come from the tenderloin of the breast, hand-trimmed just for colors. It's not a strip or a finger, it is the true tenderloin.
I'll put our chicken tenders up against anybody's.
That's like my Granny Franklin used to make. That's outstanding, Craig.
Welcome to Delicious.
Team spirit, face paint, more cowbell. Dean Trailway's Motor Coach takes care of your travel, so you can support your favorite Spartan teams and focus on the important things. Dean Trailways, your favorite ride.
The Student Bookstores are Green and White Shop headquarters. Outfit your entire family with Spartan gear. We have a large selection of men's, women's, and children's clothing. Show off your Michigan State pride with new shoes, socks, hats, and more. Have your tailgate ready with MSU party supplies, car accessories, and dress your pet in green and white. We have gifts for students, grads, alumni, and fans. From Vera Bradley and Dooney and Burke to diploma frames and more. Always shop SBS for the biggest and best selection of green and white. Go green, go white, go SBS.
You're the most important little girl in the world.
The Passage, Monday on Fox.
Welcome to Russell and Schrader Insurance.
Hastings Mutual is a trusted partner of ours. Call Joe Daly for a Hastings Mutual insurance quote. They are hard to beat. Call Dylan Bond today. From business to farms, Hastings Mutual and Russell and Schrader Insurance will protect your best assets.
With a certificate from MSU Federal Credit Union, your financial goals will be within your reach. You can open your certificate with as little as $50. MSU Federal Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
What happens when a window company celebrates 75 years? It's a big deal at Wallside. First, save thousands with half off every window. Then take an extra $75 off every window when you pay cash. We've never done that before. Half off every window plus an extra $75 off. Or take 5 years no interest. 75 years is a big deal for us and for you. 1-800-521-7800.
Producer can write it, but I'm just telling you, if I can do it, if these Clemson Tigers can do it, hey, anybody can do it if you have a belief in yourself and what you're doing, and you surround yourself with a bunch of great young people that are passionate about winning. And tonight, we conquered a mountain that ain't ever been conquered. The flag's on the top, and man, I can't wait to celebrate. I can't wait.
Dabo Swinney, I tell you what, that guy is likable. I mean, you may like his team, but it's hard not to like Dabo when you hear him talk. Doug Warren, you've said all along that Clemson was the one team that could match Alabama player for player, talent for talent. You saw that coming. You picked Clemson. Could you ever have envisioned a 44-16 thumping?
Well, I didn't pick Clemson. I did pick Alabama to win by 3, but I did say all year that Clemson was the team that could beat them, but I did not see this type of a blowout taking place. But early in the game last Monday night, you could see that the Alabama secondary was overmatched compared to the receivers and the offensive philosophy that they were running. And Trevor Lawrence was just unbelievable. He does not play like a freshman. If he could come out in the NFL draft, he'd probably be the #1 overall pick. Gil Brandt, the legendary Dallas Cowboys scout, probably going into the Hall of Fame this year, said he's the best freshman quarterback he's ever seen. And if he was in charge of an NFL team, he'd start stockpiling picks for the 21-21 draft, try to put whoever team it was in position to draft him. So this was an incredible win. Clemson is, I don't know, I'm going to call them a dynasty, but they're as good as any team I've seen in the last number of years, and they've shown it again with winning this in convincing fashion in their 4th straight matchup with Alabama.
Rico Beard guaranteed last week that this game would be over by halftime.
It was.
And it was. With the wrong team winning, but that's something else. Tom Crawford, you've watched a ton of college football.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence, of all the freshman quarterbacks you have seen, of all the pure passers you've watched, where does he rank?
Well, he's at the top as far as true freshman. He's not a redshirt freshman. I mean, 6'5", 205. He looks like a small forward in basketball, but man, his feet are incredible. His arms incredible. He's a lot stronger and tougher than you think.
Fairly mobile.
Yeah, he's mobile. Yeah. And that back shoulder throw at Justin Ross he threw, 30 yards down and they're up. See, it's the mentality though of Clemson. Take that 21-point lead, take it to 20. That's why I picked Clemson to beat Bama for that reason, because I knew they would keep attacking. And that game was over with in the 3rd quarter. And I agree with Doug. I mean, those cats are good. Those 2 guys are going to be back for the next 3 years.
You're the one I owed the dinner to last night.
That's true. Yeah. Okay. And you paid. So that's
they have athletes all over the field. And defensively, all those defensive linemen came back this year in the effort to try to get the win in the rematch, and they did. And
they didn't miss Dexter Lawrence, who was suspended.
No,
that shows you how good
he's their best defensive lineman, arguably. And yeah, they didn't miss a beat with him in the playoff.
Darian, you have faced Nick Saban's Alabama teams before, 3 years ago, 38-0 in the semifinal. How did Dabo and Clemson figure out how to do what no one else could even dream of doing?
Yeah, I mean, I got to be honest, I had Bama kind of on Rico's side. I thought it would be a pretty convincing Alabama win, but I thought next year Clemson would be able to get it. They got it this year, and it's exactly what Doug's been saying. They have the players to do it. It's not about, I mean, it is about scheme and stuff, but we had the scheme 3 years ago, I think, but they have the players to do it. They are getting the same caliber and talent. Justin Ross, they took him right from Alabama. Same thing Kirby Smart's doing in Georgia. They're now plucking players from Alabama. So I think that's why people think that the tide, no pun intended, might be shifting away from Alabama, because now you're able to walk into the state and say, come here, and players are doing that. But I think it's a travesty that Trevor Lawrence has to stay there for another 2 years. I mean, the kid's ready now. And it's very rare that kids would ever be.
LeBron, go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, and to me, if you change the rule, you're not going to see this overabundance of kids leaving after the 1st and 2nd year. You're going to see the guys that are ready go and do that.
I thought the most interesting thing with Justin Ross wasn't just the one-hand catches and all the spectacular plays he made, but his explanation for why he went to Clemson. He said, I wanted to go where there was coaching stability. I wanted to go where I might know the coaches.
Goes back to our conversation earlier.
It does. It does.
We will be back in just a minute, and we're going to have a special tribute to the great late Gus Ganakis, Michigan State legend, up next.
We thought we lost everything in that fire, but my independent agent and auto owners made sure we were up and running fast. That's what mattered to us.
Hold Dimondale Insurance Agency, your hometown team. Come catch us today.
Let's meet the best looking panel on any platform, Jenny McCarthy.
You
blow us away with your talent. That was awesome!
Kim Jong!
I need more clues, people. I'm not that smart.
Nicole Scherzinger!
I want to date you. I love you so much.
Mr. Robin Thicke! As soon as she came out with that catwalk, whoop, whoop, I was all into it. Did a great job, man. Rock and roll, rock and roll. Are you a basketball player?
Britney Spears.
Paula Abdul. I cannot solve this mystery.
Oh, yeah.
Masked Singer, all new, Wednesday at 9/8 Central on Fox.
Ride with Chicago PD, weekdays at noon on My 47.4.
The Ticket Machine is your local connection to concert, theater, and sporting event tickets nationwide. Our entertainment experts are ready to help you create a memorable experience, trusted by fans for more than 20 years. Whether you're looking for tickets for your corporate outing, family excursion, or vacation, we offer the best seats and the best prices. Grab a front row seat now on theticketmachine.com.
Michigan winters are all about being outdoors and having some fun. Can we have some fun where it's warm? We're kicking off 2019 with huge savings during Graf's Winterfest. And during Graf's Winterfest, we'll double the value of your trade up to $5,000.
Double the value of your trade up to $5,000 and choose from any of these vehicles for $112 a month or less.
Plus, take a test drive and register to win a 2-night ski package at Treetops Resort. Why are we back outside? It's cold. For Graf's Winterfest, going on at a Graf dealership near you.
What's really important to me is being able to have a partner, and Dart Bank has been that for me. I'm Eric Nelson. I'm a managing partner here at the English Inn. I've worked with John Morris at Dart Bank to help put together multiple projects that have assisted us with growing our business and continuing to be successful.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. Time for a Going Green segment brought to you by Graf Chevrolet. A trusted friend, 105 years in the automobile business. Stop and see Matt, Mark, and Greg on West Grand River in Okemos. Test drive an Equinox or Silverado, then make a great deal.
I got a chance to call Judd until the end, and I got a chance to see Gus until the end, and it'll be more difficult, to be honest with you. It really will, and I think I'm going to try to do what people told me to do when my father died a couple years ago, and that's remember all the good times. You know, I must have thought of Judd today 100 times, and after Gus died, right in the middle of, you know, which is kind of perfect. You know, he died in the middle of our basketball luncheon, and I'm going to try to remember all the good times I had with him, all the funny moments I had with him.
Michigan State head coach Judd Heathcote's protege, a guy who succeeded Judd, Tom Izzo, talking about Gus Ganakis, and the three of them have been there 50 years. When you think about the game today at State College, I guarantee you Tom Izzo thought about Gus Ganakis.
Oh, no doubt.
Many times.
And CBS did a nice tribute in the middle of that, Bill Raftery. That was really good.
Did exactly that. Tom, how do you summarize the life of someone who came to East Lansing 73 years ago, didn't know anything about Michigan State College, went to take an entrance exam at Jensen Fieldhouse, started looking for a house in the middle of the field, and all the things he did during that time, all the contributions he made.
Well, let me say, the Friday show that we did in the Drive with Jack and Tom was probably my favorite because we were mourning, we were sad about Gus leaving, but we laughed for 3 hours. And Gus Ganakis was just the most genuine, down-to-earth, self-deprecating guy I've ever met. And he was also resilient. What he went through in 1975, that walkout, and then getting fired in 1976. And then in 1977, I'm up at Jenison. I came up from Ann Arbor. He's sitting between Irvin Johnson and Jay Vincent recruiting for Judd Heathcote. Yeah. That tells you all you need to know about Gus Ganakis, about how much class that man has. So he will be sorely missed in his community. I'm not running into anybody in this town who just doesn't think he's just a brilliant man.
It was kind of the Will Rogers of East Lansing.
Yeah.
And when you try to find somebody who didn't like Gus Ganakis.
You can't find it. It's not possible.
Darian, you know a lot about teamwork. How would you describe a guy who has 5 straight winning seasons, thinks he's going to get a pay raise, finds out he's been fired, then recruits the greatest player in Michigan State history for his successor, and spends the next 43 years bleeding green?
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable, and that just is a testament to his character, as Tom just touched on. I mean, you would talk about coaching stability. Michigan State basketball is that's the epitome
that's crazy.
Of coaching stability.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only, like you said, 3 coaches and 50. I mean, it's unheard of right now, but it's because each predecessor had something to do with the next person coming up. It was always about who's coming up next. Doesn't matter if they're taking my job. Who's coming up next needs to be better than I was, and that's how Michigan State's legacy is going to continue on, and that's what you saw with Coach Ganakis, Coach Heathcote, and now Coach Izzo. And when Coach Izzo's done, the person he brings up next, I think, is going to follow the same tradition, because you just don't have that if it's not Michigan State basketball if you don't have that.
Doug, Friday afternoon, you produced a show, and we had 5 testimonials, among everything else that we talked about, paying tribute. Gregory Kelser said he came to Michigan State because of Gus Ganakis and was going to transfer, and Gus told him, you can't. You're not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What stood out to you about what you heard that day?
Well, just obviously his character, but the thing about Gus that always was impressive to me when I would run into him, he always had a smile on his face. He was always positive. He always looked on the bright side. If Michigan State basketball in the first half played like garbage and Gus had to go interview Tom, he would always point out the positive thing, and Tom would be angry. It was like a good cop, bad cop thing. But Gus was that way with everything that he did. I never saw the guy upset. And it was funny when he would run into us, because he always watched the TV show. Yeah. He'd always say, "Oh, you're the Lions guy," and we'd talk Lions, you know. And it was just, just the nicest guy you could ever meet. And everybody that we heard about on Friday, Greg Kelser said, other than his grandfather and his father, he's the most important man in his life. I mean, what else can you say about a person like that?
They're problem solvers and problem creators, and he's one of the ultimate problem solvers, wearing all these different hats, 14 of them, in fact. Since the time that he came to Michigan State in 1946. They're longer than the Spartan statue.
Wow.
Well, the original Greek, Gus Ganakis. And when you think about all the golf he played, he started off not liking golf, but he had to play so many alumni outings when he was working for the Ralph Young Fund.
Part of the job.
His daughter went to school, and they asked, "What does your dad do?" He says, "Oh, he plays golf for Michigan State." He kept rooting for rainouts, but then later on in life, played a little bit of golf with him, and that was always a lot of fun too. He's the one guy who could get Heathcote out of a bad mood. I don't know anybody else who could do that.
Well, that was possible.
We'll be right back, and we're going to talk college basketball. Big week for Michigan State and Michigan. A couple of 2-0 performances, and there they are atop the Big Ten and very close to the top in the national rankings. We'll be right back with that and much, much more coming up. It's Press Pass here on Fox 47.
It's another fall Friday night, and your kids should be
playing high school football. It's a fun game, and it's safer than ever.
It's safe because the rules, the coaching, and the equipment are better than ever before.
As a result, serious injuries are at an all-time low. Seriously.
And builds
strong schools, lifetime memories, and tomorrow's community leaders.
And it's mother approved.
It's a great game, and we want to teach it to your kids.
Team spirit, face paint, more cowbell. Dean Trailway's Motor Coach takes care of your travel, so you can support your favorite Spartan teams and focus on the important things. Dean Trailways, your favorite ride.
Working with the IDE company, 1, is very easy to do. 2, they're very responsive to our needs. And 3, as we've grown as a company, they've listened to those needs and they've helped us plan out our future in terms of growth that needs to be done at this location.
It's just comforting to know I'm working with the IDE company, knowing that they can accommodate our growth. In that way, they're an excellent partner.
Opportunities for retail, office, restaurant, and residential. Build the future as a member of the IDE company family.
Big Bang Character Prototype.
Weeknights at 6 and 7 on Fox 47.
I'm excited about 3 or 4 because Leo Getz shows back up.
Because Leo Getz has a bully scanner in his apartment, and by apartment I mean
my car. And he is doing a true crime podcast, and I got to watch him shoot the scene where he's interviewing someone who may be the bad guy, and I have never laughed so hard. He has to run and hide in the bathroom.
I got an irritable bowel like you would not wish on your enemy.
And listening to him ad-lib 20 different times about what's happening in the bathroom and why the guy should not come in.
Everything okay in there?
Hey, Jacob, I got some ceviche at a gas station.
I've been a fan of Tom for so long, like since the days of The State on MTV a million years ago.
Got some fierce squirts happening. It could be a while.
There's a lot of times where I just want to be on set just watching him and not be part of the scene because I just
masterclass.
And it's so funny. It's very exciting.
I'm just trying to find my pants.
All new Lethal Weapon, Tuesday on Fox.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. Time for The Big Picture, brought to you by Dean Trailways. With trips for every season, Dean takes care of the details so you can enjoy the experience, including daily casino runs and great getaways to northern Michigan and Chicago, where Doug Warren and I were in August, or the NFL Legends Classic. That's Dean Trailways, your favorite ride.
Very good job in the first half for the second game in a row, and I think we had some guys that played at an incredible level. Cassius, again, had to play too many minutes, but if I had to go for a star of the game, even though Kenny rebounded well, and Nick bounced back to have some incredible stats for a game that I didn't think he was as sharp in.
Michigan State coach Tom Izzo again. This was late Tuesday night after the 18-point win over Purdue. Darian, how did MSU's Matt McQuaid and freshman Aaron Henry stymie Carson Edwards? He's been averaging 25-5 a game. They held him to 11 points.
Well, Carson Edwards, to me, is probably a lottery pick or right outside of it. So for Matt McQuaid specifically to be able to do that, Henry as well, it's just attitude and effort. I mean, you ask any great on-the-ball defender, that's what it is. It's all about attitude and effort and energy. You ask, Pat Beverly, Tony Allen, even Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan won Defensive Player of the Year because of that. That's what it comes down to. And I walked out of the Breslin after that Purdue game saying that Matt McQuaid deserves Serious Defensive Player of the Year honors, at least to be in the conversation of that in the Big Ten. I always give it to, big men for blocks, things of that nature. You got to start stopping somebody like Carson Edwards and holding them way under their average as something that really puts you up there as an elite defender. Coach Izzo's been preaching about Matt McQuaid's defense, and it really came to show in that game against Purdue.
Tom, there's a guy named Simpson at Michigan who's going to be in a lot of Defensive Player of the Year conversations.
Yes.
But I was waiting for Carson Edwards, and I had to wait about 35 minutes for him after the game for what I do for Associated Press. And, he was really upset, bitter,
He's got an edge to him,
combative.
there's no doubt.
And then he went out Friday night and took that out on Wisconsin and put in 36.
A big-time three right at the end of regulation, too. I mean, he's a marvel. When he gets mad, he gets good. He's one of those guys.
Yeah. Doug, Michigan State today going on the road, the third Big Ten road win. They've now won 6 Big Ten games by combined 101 points. How did they do this today and dominate without Josh Langford, without Kyle Arndt?
Well, the role players stepped up. They had a 28-14 run in the first half, and that was kind of sparked by a 40-second possession where they had 2 offensive rebounds, and then Winston hit a bounce pass to Goins, who dunked it. I mean, that just symbolizes that team right now. They're just doing everything they need to do right, and when somebody's down, somebody else will step up. And Goins, he could end up being the secret weapon for this team come tournament time if he keeps hitting those jumpers and doing all the things that he does, eating the glass and stuff like that. So he and Tillman are going to be very, very important come tournament time. With the depth that they'll have up front, they could cause matchup nightmares for a lot of teams.
This was a school record 18th straight conference win.
Right.
And longest in the country. Michigan is close behind. They have 10 straight, I think, now. But when you're doing things like that, it takes more than a couple of players. And Darian, you know about this from football. When you have an injured player and then he comes back, it's almost like blood doping.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But there's chemistry issues, are there not?
Yeah,
though?
there can be sometimes, but I think not somehow, some way. We know how great of a coach Izzo is. This year specifically, he's done a great job of kind of weaning in the freshmen at the ideal time, at the perfect times. And kind of on the flip side of what we said about Michigan State football, Michigan State basketball has been in games where they've blown out teams enough to get guys in the game so they can get considerable minutes and learn how to play Big Ten basketball, because we know conference play is a lot different than out of conference.
Tom, we can't forget about the Wolverines. It was business as usual for Beeline's bunch.
Right.
On the road, Illinois, tonight against Northwestern.
Yeah, they jumped out. You know, that Illinois win, I thought that they were going to get upset. I'll go on record as saying that, and they won that game in Champaign Thursday night, and then tonight they got 50 points in the first half, a 10-0 run right out of the chute, and they knocked down Northwestern. So that's 17-0 for Michigan. That's the best record in the school history. So there was a milestone for the Wolverines.
If you had nailed that Illinois over Michigan pick to go with your Clemson over Alabama choice, Doug, we would have had to find a new co-host. He'd have been out in Vegas.
That's right.
He'd have been with Nick Bogdanovich and William Hill or something.
Yeah, so. But, you know, hey, I took a shot at it. I didn't want it to happen, but I thought it might.
So we were talking about this during the week. When do these teams lose?
Well, I'm thinking Michigan State could be vulnerable to Nebraska, and I'll document that this week in the Drive with Jack and Tom. Michigan at Indiana a week from Friday night. I think that's when they get their first L.
If Michigan State can get through the month of January with the 6 road games in this period of time, then the schedule shifts a little bit. They still have the home and home with Michigan.
Right.
They still have a home game with Indiana, but it lightens up a little bit.
Watch out for Maryland at home, though, a week from Monday
Watch out
night.
for Maryland at home. I think Maryland might be the 3rd best team in the Big Ten and closer to the top 2 than number 4. We will be back in just a minute. We're going to talk about pro football. No, not the Detroit Lions. We said pro football. We're going to talk about the teams that were in the conference semifinals and what's ahead for next week's conference championship games. Up next.
Never give up hope.
Should be fun. I'll lead.
We're breaking waves, shooting stars. We live for glory, not forever.
You don't leave me, and I don't leave you. We are going to show you the dawn of a new age.
What's your hair? We haven't got any hair.
Oh my God!
Look into these beautiful hazel eyes.
How can I resist?
Woo! Run!
Oh! Snap!
Make this right here, right now. Here, right now.
That sounds like fun. Welcome to the galaxy.
The Orville, all new, Thursday on Fox.
Your paycheck can be gone before you know it. We're here to help save your hard-earned wages. Discovering deals that are too good to be true. Shining a light on scams meant to rip you off. Watch Don't Waste Your Money with John Matarese. Monday on Fox 47 News at 10.
Hello, my name is Dr. John Braccio, psychologist. If you or your child have problems with focus, inattention, sitting still, memory, concentration, these are traits of ADHD. Visit us at drjohnb.com.
Michigan winters are all about being outdoors and having some fun. Can we have some fun where it's warm?
We're kicking off 2019 with huge savings during Graf's Winterfest. And during Graf's Winterfest, we'll double the value of your trade up to $5,000.
Get 0% financing on select 2018 Silverados or drive a 2019 truck for $100 a month or less.
Plus, take a test drive and register to win a 2-night ski package at Treetops Resort. Why are we back outside? It's cold. For Graf's Winterfest, going on at a Graf dealership near you.
What's really important to me is being able to have a partner, and Dart Bank has been that for me. I'm Eric Nelson. I'm a managing partner here at the English Inn. I've worked with John Morris at Dart Bank to help put together multiple projects that have assisted us with growing our business and continuing to be successful.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. Time for our Law of the Jungle segment, brought to you by Woody's Oasis on Trowbridge Road, your healthy alternative to fast food. Eat Woody's and live longer. I'm talking about chicken shawarma with baked breast meat and hummus made fresh in a 3-day process. That's why I'm there every week. The Woody's items are now available at Tom's Foods, Clorox, and other local grocers. The Dallas Cowboys, a little dissension. Terrell Owens has seen enough, ladies and gentlemen. He is imploring Jerry Jones to get rid of Jason Garrett. He said, haven't we seen about enough? And there you see Cowboy fan burning a jersey. Darian, that's not your jersey, right? Darian's a big Cowboys fan, but no, that is not Darian Harris' jersey. But a lot of people disgruntled with that performance. Doug Warren, with what you saw from the Cowboys, they were the only home team to win in the first week of the playoffs. And this week, all the home teams won.
Yeah. Well, I think against the Rams just dominated up front. I mean, they just ran the ball down their throat. The Cowboys really had no answer, it was a blowout, really, in many respects. So today, the Patriots pretty much did the same type of thing to the Chargers. The Chargers, I didn't realize this, 4 of their last 5 games are on the road this season, and they had to go coast to coast the last 2 weeks. So I think all that travel just kind of caught up with them today, and that was one of the reasons why they just kind of came out flat and got beaten so badly by the Patriots.
Bad day to come out flat.
Yeah.
When you're facing the Patriots, when they're hitting on all cylinders. What happened to the Indianapolis Colts? They were such a popular upset pick.
Yep, yeah, and I picked them to upset them too, but they couldn't move the football. They didn't get 300 yards of total offense. They didn't crack 100 yards of rushing. And Kansas City, as much maligned as their defense is, their front four has the athletic ability to put pressure on teams without having to blitz. And I think that was a big factor. They got 4 sacks against Andrew Luck yesterday, and it takes a little bit of pressure off the secondary. So it's going to be a real interesting matchup to see if they can do that against New England and how New England will try to counter that.
Tom Crawford, the Patriots, every one of their Super Bowls seems like it's close down to the last couple of plays. This one was not. How did the Patriots do this, and how did they run the ball so well?
Sony Michel, man, I thought he looked like he was playing for the Georgia Bulldogs today. It was amazing. Their first 30 offensive snaps, they get 15 first downs out of those first 30 snaps. It's an amazing ratio right there. They just went out and ran the football, got the big lead. Tom Brady, I think, had an edge to them because they've been disrespected, I think. No one expects them, and maybe the last thing you want to do is irritate the New England Patriots, but that was really impressive. Coasted in the second half. They got some great blocking from their tight end, from their tackles. It was an impressive performance indeed.
Darian, if a coach wants to make a highlight reel of blocking by a tight end, just check what Gronkowski did today. Absolutely. He wasn't just cleaning out his guy. He was knocking 2 or 3 guys out on some of these plays.
Yeah, and it's that's how Coach Bowman recruits tight ends from Michigan State. If you cannot block, you can't be a true tight end. And Gronkowski, I mean, he's first ballot Hall of Famer. He's broken a bunch of receiving records, but his ability to block and create holes on the edge is what separates him from some other tight ends in the league.
The Saints got past the Eagles, maybe the closest game of the 4, but are the Saints the class of the field that is remaining, or do you like the Rams, the Patriots, or the Kansas City Chiefs?
I mean, I tend to lean towards the Chiefs, but after what the Patriots did today, I mean, they have a different switch when the playoffs start. I mean, so to me, you can't dethrone them from the cream of the crop until they get dethroned, until they don't make it to a Super Bowl.
Even on the road, though.
Even on the road. I mean, am I picking the Chiefs in this game? Yes, I am, because that was one of my Super Bowl picks. But if the Patriots win, I wouldn't be surprised.
Right.
I mean, I didn't expect. I expected them to beat the Chargers, but not like that. And Tom Brady's betting on himself and the team, and they look like different team. I mean, we haven't seen that from Sony Michel this season. We haven't seen blocking like that. We thought Gronk was done, and then they just turn it on.
Julian Edelman had 9 catches.
I mean, it is mind-boggling to me how they're able to do that, and they're gonna come into Kansas City with a chip on their shoulder, and an underdog Patriots team with that mentality, that's scary. So I still have them as the cream of the crop in the NFL.
Tom, which team would be the biggest surprise for you if they're holding the trophy in Atlanta?
The Rams. For some reason, they just don't impress me. So
you haven't talked to Doug Warren lately.
I know, and I know Doug thought the Patriots might be the weak link of the 4, and I'm with Darian. I've done. I thought I mean, the Patriots, I mean, I can't count against them, so I think they're going to do it. They're the first most likely for me, even more than the Saints, and the Rams are the most likely to be out of there.
Sony Michel was not the biggest surprise of the week for me because he's not been healthy much of the year.
That's true.
C.J. Anderson.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Right, that's true.
Well, it's just that happens in the NFL. I don't know. I don't know where it came from. He was on 2 other teams this year, and they both cut him, and now he's running, like his life depends on it. I don't know. We'll see if he can do that next week. That'll help out the Rams for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I forgot about the guy, to be honest.
I didn't. Yeah,
damn,
really.
He's still in the league. Okay.
Well,
yeah.
Next Sunday afternoon, it all starts 3:05 here on Fox 47. The Rams in New Orleans to face the Saints, and then the nightcap. Patriots going on the road.
That'll be huge.
It doesn't go through Foxborough, but they got to win at Kansas City to get to the Super Bowl. We'll be right back in just a moment with our Take It to the Bank.
We are so smart. Why didn't girls like us in high school? Because we were awkward and weird and couldn't play sports. Right again.
I've been cooped up in here too long. Maybe I need some fresh air.
How about this? He's a poor man's Sheldon Cooper.
Oh, Tesla. Here we are, building our own multi-wire detector like a couple of badasses.
I know, if we were still single, we'd be tripping over all that booty.
Sheldon? Sheldon? Sheldon?
The Big Bang Theory, 5 nights a week.
Weeknights at 6 and 7 on Fox 47.
I need an airway.
The Resident, all new, Mondays at 8, 7 Central on Fox.
Team spirit. Face paint. More cowbell. Dean Trailway's Motor Coach takes care of your travel, so you can support your favorite Spartan teams and focus on the important things. Dean Trailways, your favorite ride.
The student bookstores are Green and White Shop headquarters. Outfit your entire family with Spartan gear. We have a large selection of men's, women's, and children's clothing. Show off your Michigan State pride with new shoes, socks, hats, and more. Have your tailgate ready with MSU party supplies, car accessories, and dress your pet in green and white. We have gifts for students, grads, alumni, and fans. From Vera Bradley and Dooney and Burke to diploma frames and more. Always shop SBS for the biggest and best selection of green and white. Go green, go white, go SBS.
Sports give so many opportunities to kids. It gives them an opportunity to see where they fit within a team, persevere, understanding how to work with different personalities. Those are the lessons that will make you a successful adult. As a mom, you have to have an understanding of what concussions are.
Concussions are things that are treatable. If we take care of athletes, they will be able to develop and have a long, happy, healthy life.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. Time for our Take It to the Bank segment, brought to you by Dart Bank, dedicated to meeting the needs of our banking community for more than 90 years with 4 convenient locations in Mason, Holton South Lansing, Grand Ledge, and the expanded Home Loan Center in Frandor. That's Dart Bank for what matters most. The Duke Blue Devils yesterday got a break on a call, official review, and how in the world can Cam Reddish get that open?
Well, they can
a game-winning shot.
R.J. Barrett had everybody's attention.
That is so Duke-like. All right, Team 277. Time to look ahead to the first week in April. And will the Duke freshmen be in Minneapolis? What about Michigan? Michigan State? Tennessee? Don't forget about Virginia. What can we take to the bank? Tom Crawford, who do you see being in Minneapolis?
I think there's going to be 2 teams in Minneapolis. One is located here in East Lansing. The other one's 63 miles to the southeast. I truly think, I know it's crazy, and I don't think I'll be able to. Are you
just saying that now?
No, I'm saying, okay. What are we in, January, whatever?
Yeah.
It's going to happen. And brace yourself, state of Michigan, because it's going to be just anxietyville. Everybody's going to be on edge. Everybody's going to be at each other's throats. It's going to the winner, to the victor goes the spoil, to the loser, misery.
Are you going to be able to show up for Drive with Jack and Tom that week?
We'll see.
All right.
I might be tested, but that's going to happen. You watch.
All right. Darian Harris, who's going to show up? Minneapolis U.S. Bank Stadium.
You know, it's funny because I 100% agree with you. And that's exactly where I was going. You know, I went back and forth in my head because the NCAA tournament is probably one of the most unpredictable things in all of sports. And I was going to lean towards maybe the team that doesn't draw Duke in their bracket will make it, but we don't know if any will draw Duke. I mean, one day, one of y'all is going to have to sit down and explain to me how teams are seeded and where they go, because I still don't get that.
They're both going to be number one seeds.
They will be number one seeds, exactly, but just in terms of, you know, so I guess, yeah, if Duke is the other number one seed, it won't even matter. But I agree. If that's the case, I got them both going to the Final Four. I truly do. I mean, they have to be two of the best teams in America. They have depth, they have experience, they have the coaches to do it, and that's going to be exciting times.
Duke has a big game next weekend with Virginia.
Right.
So that'll tell us a lot.
You got to hope Duke doesn't get a 2 seed.
They get Zion Williamson to play, though.
Yeah.
He poked his eye, and he missed that second half.
Doug Warren, do you get your wish? Is this the time that Michigan State meet, as you always say, it's good for business?
Yeah, it would be good for business. I hope so. They're going to have to win out, aside from playing each other, of course. I don't know if they're going to both get a 1 seed. I'd like to see that happen. They're certainly playing right now like they deserve to. And again, like Darian said, what happens if Duke gets a 2 seed? I still can't, like Virginia, the way that they play, they're going to lose in the tournament. They might not lose in the first round again, in all likelihood.
Their offense is a little bit better than
It is.
But I mean, is Nevada good enough to make a run to the Final Four? No. I don't know.
Gonzaga,
that's another team.
Beat Duke without one of its best players.
Right, okay. So, yeah, I mean, I really hope it happens, and certainly both teams are playing like they can. Keep our fingers crossed that that's going to happen in Minneapolis.
Tom, how often mid-January have we said, oh, well, yeah, those are the top 4 teams, and we get to the Final Four, only one of them is there?
Yeah.
We've seen that before, too.
I understand that, but I mean, but you're looking at data as it sits right now. As Darian said, when you look at that body of work, Michigan State, it's hard to argue that they have as good a chance, if not better, than anybody else, including Duke. I'm serious when I say that.
Well, as Graham Couch said, you know, Duke not playing any true road games until last week, so they did go ahead and play one and prevailed. Florida State.
Florida State's a good team. I'm not saying they're not.
What about Tennessee? The only loss they've had yet so far is the Kansas.
Yeah. So you got a lot of teams.
Rick Barnes is a good coach, too.
Kansas is one team now with the injury to Azubuike. I think a lot of people have written them off, too. So there'll be some team we're not talking about right now. I guarantee when we get to the Elite Eight, there's a team we haven't mentioned tonight that's going to be right there with their eyes on the prize. We'll be right back with our Cool and Smooth segment brought to you by Culver's, up next on Press Pass.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, we have a taste for adventure because the only way to know how good something can be is to go for it. Try our veggie smoothies, Island Green, made with spinach, kale, pineapple, banana, and mango, and Caribbean Sea Burst with carrots, mango, banana, orange, and goji. Adventure begins with never knowing until you try, but always expecting something great. Go for a veggie smoothie at Tropical Smoothie Cafe. Eat better, feel better.
Michigan winters are all about being outdoors and having some fun. Can we have some fun where it's warm? We're kicking off 2019 with huge savings during Graf's Winterfest.
And during Graf's Winterfest, we'll double the value of your trade up to $5,000.
Double the value of your trade up to $5,000 and choose from any of these vehicles for $112 a month or less.
Plus, take a test drive and register to win a 2-night ski package at Treetops Resort. Why are we back outside? It's cold. For Graf's Winterfest, going on at a Graf dealership near you.
10 years after being proven innocent, I now defend the wrongfully convicted.
Congratulations, you're a free man.
You're our best asset. I honestly thought you were guilty. In fact, I still do.
We're gonna get you the hell out of here.
We're warriors for the innocent.
When someone goes to prison for a murder they didn't commit, it means the real murderer is still out there.
Proven Innocent, coming this February to Fox.
Catch 2.5 Men weekdays at 4:30 on My 47.4.
It's Springfield Has Skills. Good evening. Who will break out? Who will break down? Kill me. Judge for yourself.
Time for the game material. Hey, hey!
Ay, caramba!
Take my hands and clap them sarcastically.
The Simpsons. Weeknights at 11 on Fox 47.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. Time for a Cool and Smooth segment brought to you by the 5 Culver's locations in mid-Michigan. Since 1984, Culver's has been delighting guests one meal at a time with scrumptious butter burgers and premium frozen custard. That's Culver's. Welcome to delicious.
Bruce Brown feeds Blake against Gallinari. Blake a little up and under, hook, and he hits it.
His hero is just destroying the rim.
See if they can control Griffin better now than they did in the first. Nice job using the glass. Rivers didn't come up with it. 4 in the shot clock. Griffin steps back to three-point land. Bingo!
50% from the field, Ralph.
Oh, me, oh my, a flashback.
There you see Blake Griffin on his homecoming to Staples Center, and he got a tremendous ovation. I wasn't sure, Darian, how he would be received. And then he goes out and lights it up, 44 points. Nice homecoming.
Yeah, great homecoming. Didn't give Steve Ballmer the handshake running back to the locker room. His explanation, to me, I was cool with his explanation. If that was truly what he was saying, he sticks to the same routine. He's been doing it for forever. But he was also asked if at another time he would give him a handshake, and he didn't answer that either. So, you know.
All right, Team 277, who has been as cool and smooth as a Culver's mint explosion this week? Darian, let's start with you in our Play of the Week.
Play of the Week for me is the Duke game-winning shot by Cam Reddish. He was the one out of the 4 freshmen that was struggling the most this season. Yeah. So it was good to see him pick it up this game. Had a great game, wide open, great execution by Duke. Confusing defense by Florida State, but he was able to hit the game-winning jumper. And again, for Tom Brown's prediction to come true, I mean, we want to see Duke win out, so they can get one of those #1 seeds. Michigan State can get the other 2, and then whoever can get the 4th. But you don't ever want to see Duke in your bracket in the tournament. Although, for those freshmen, as talented as they are, come tournament time, it's a little bit different game.
And Tom Izzo got his players, and they were watching that, and they said, now, this is what they did. Don't do this. So I don't want to give anybody that kind of an open shot. Doug Warren, what about the game of the week?
Sticking with basketball, yesterday another game. Louisville upset number 12 ranked North Carolina, 83-62. It's Roy Williams' worst home loss in 16 years, so anybody who likes fairness and fair play, I think, would be happy with that. The Cardinals made 11 three-pointers, keeping up with the old coach Rick Pitino's mantra, and they shot 52% from the field, so Cardinals had a big upset.
How about Providence with 2 3-point leads over Georgetown, the end of regulation, the end of the first overtime? Of course they don't foul. And they give up a game-tying 3. Foul when you're in that situation. Simple math.
Obsessed with that thing.
Tom Crawford, what about our team of the week?
Our team of the week's easy for me. It's the Maryland Terrapins. They've won 5 games in a row. They're 14-3 overall, 5-1 in the Big Ten. They had big wins with Minnesota and Indiana this past weekend. That's a team that scares the heck out of me. Michigan goes to Maryland the second to last game of the year. Then they go to Michigan State. Yeah. So Bruno Fernando, man, they got players. Man, he is scary. Yeah. Really he's a scary dude.
That's an adult.
That's an adult. He had a block shot that was frightening.
He's got a name like an adult.
Yeah, exactly.
Bruno.
All right. For our Player of the Week, I want to go with the guy who might be Gus Ganakis' favorite player on his team, and that is Matt McQuaid. And what he did Tuesday night to Carson Edwards, he was a second skin for Edwards. And then today he comes out, no Langford, no Kyle Arns, and he hits 4 threes and played a lot of minutes. You know, he has become, you see what being a senior can mean in some programs.
Yeah. Funny how that works. Yeah.
Kyle Arns, Kenny Goins. You see how that, some things that didn't happen last year with the younger guys. Nick Ward is a different player too. Even though when he got the 4th foul, you saw Tom Izzo on the sideline, he just laid that clipboard down. So that was a nice restraint on that one, Tom. Want to thank our panel, Team 277. Tom Crawford, The Drive with Jack and Tom, weekdays from 3 to 6 on the Spotlight Radio Network. Darian Harris. Darren, I hope you're absolutely right about these coaching shifts.
I hope so, too.
You would know more than we would. Doug Warren, Lions today, 2 to 3, and we'll be back with you next week, everyone, after the conference championship games. Have a great week.
Catch the savings at Capital Honda with the biggest lineup of new Hondas from Capital Honda.
From business to farms, Hastings Mutual will protect your best assets.
Yours is a sacred place.
Why do you do it? What drives you?
It's in my DNA. I'm a surgeon first. That's all that matters to me. Always taking the weight of the world on your shoulders.
Why are you helping me? Because you need it. You fixed everything, Doctor.
All in a day's work for this guy.
The Resident returns this Monday, followed by the series premiere of The Passage on Fox.
Talking to prime, it's game day and I took all of the shine. Told the reporter, hold up, I think this Dion calling my line. Fast feet, MVP athletes, highlights of players treating turf like track meets. Should've seen my tackle, I put him in the back seat. LT still talking about it, that was last week. No matter if you ball in a fanny, trust me, the show bang like a ball from the cannon. It's in pocket like I caught it from Manning. Game day prime sharper than Shannon. Every Sunday after the game, same day, same time. The boys in Carissa Thompson got what they can't find. And if they say they seen better, I'ma say they lying. I'd like to welcome you to Game Day Prime. Turn us up.
Welcome to Game Day Prime, presented by Mercedes-Benz. Here's your host, Carissa Thompson.
It's Game Day Prime, divisional weekend.
Yeah.
My hair is white, and Dion's is growing.
It's curly, too.
That's a hair update.
It's natural. Ain't no chemicals.
Weather in an hour.
You got that freak in it.
Now for the final word on all the biggest moments, our three Hall of Famers. You know them, you love them. Dion, LT, and Shannon. Let's just get right to it. Eagles and the Saints. It was a good one down in New Orleans. Drew Brees and Nick Foles.
Balling.
You love
I
Nick
love you
Foles.
ball early.
First quarter, Drew Brees looks for Ted Ginn, but intercepted.
If Drew Brees throws this ball, that's a touchdown. You know that.
First interception at home all regular season.
All right, Drew. We believe in you, baby.
Eagles ball. Second and 2. Nick Foles hits Jordan Matthews.
Pay that man.
37-yard touchdown.
Look back and forget your man. What is 46 do? I just want to know why he stopped.
But Nick Foles,
he thought the play was over.
Ball better than anybody in football.
Real well.
He threw a really good deep ball.
Anybody in football?
Is who Carson Wentz?
Next Eagles possession. Okay, I know what we're trying to do here. Foles to Alshon Jeffrey to the Saints 4. So 2 plays later, we're looking at 2nd and goal. Foles do it himself. They leading early in this one, 14-0 on the road. We all know what happened the last time these two teams met. So second quarter,
right here with this 14, that really was.
Eagles ball. Foles throws to Zach Ertz, but intercepted by Marshawn Lattimore.
He needed that. He needed that for his confidence. He needed that for his team. He needed that for momentum.
Foles not loving that one. So then we got a little
possession.
Right, Taysom Hill gets the direct snap, rushes, gets the first down. 8 plays later, Drew Brees gets Keith Kirkland.
Throw that ball to Michael Thomas.
Yep.
Saints would add a field goal to trail 14-10 at the half. So third quarter, 2nd and 20.
It's a grown man right there.
Drew Brees.
Don't let him run that route all day long. Well, I told you don't let him run it. He ran that route so much, I'm hoping he run on that set right after the game.
6 plays later, he will find Michael Thomas again. And then guess what? For good measure, why don't we just go to him again?
Why not? Bring him to us.
His drive.
We got to talk to him, man.
Michael Thomas.
We got to talk to him. Yeah.
Saints leading 17-14. Well, he balled, so he should get the call, Dion. We'll see if we can get him on the line, but let's finish this game quickly. Will Lutz Lines up for the 52-yard field goal, and he misses it.
This kind of stuff cannot happen.
So the
But at this point, I was thinking Nick Foles could do it again.
Staying alive.
See, that kind of stuff can't happen.
Well, he's got a shot. So Nick Foles at 2nd and 10. Alshon Jeffrey right through the hands. Lattimore.
I feel bad for Alshon.
Hold on to that one. So the Saints win 20-14 and advance to the NFC Championship game against the Rams. Here's Alshon Jeffrey after that heartbreaking loss.
It sucks right now. I mean, everyone is like when we all down. Like I said, man, I let my teammates down. I let the city of Philadelphia down. That's on me. We'll be back next year for sure.
Where do you go from here personally?
One play don't define me. I mean, all the greats and had missed game-winning shots, dropped pass, touchdown. So it happens. It's part of football. I mean, I just hated the way it happened in the playoffs, and it was a defining moment.
You walked off this field. Did it feel like the last time you were in this
You know, I'm not really going to worry about it right now. I think, you know, I'm just going to do what I can to enjoy this fight back with my teammates, and we'll see what happens. I do know that, you know, we went out there and gave it everything we had tonight, and that's where, you know, everyone's got to keep their heads held high, because that's what it's about. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but ultimately if you give it everything you have, you know, that's what it's about.
It's tough because it's so final, you know. You're here at the end of the season. There's no more football, you know, for 2018, and just told the guys, you know, just keep their heads up. And we set out on a journey way back in OTAs, and we keep talking about having no regrets, you know, and leave everything out on the field. And they did that tonight. You know, they did that this afternoon, and they battled right to the end. We had opportunities. So proud of them, proud of the season, proud of the adversity that we faced all season long, and you know, found our way to get into the postseason, and you know, just wish the Saints you know, good luck going forward.
Initial reaction to this game, Dion, is what?
Well, when you ask the man, where do you go from here?
Personally. No, where you go from here personally?
Where you go from here? Home. Man, mad. You just drop
Get that hefty bag tomorrow, clean out your locker, and
that's
hey,
a
man,
heartbreaking way to lose.
I don't like the way the Saints started.
You mean the 14-0?
Yeah, I don't like the way they started tremendously, and it just seems like they didn't come out with the right intensity. I will admit, if Drew Brees had hit that first deep pass again, that's a whole different game.
Yeah.
Lattimore can't. The big-time players must make big-time plays in these type games. Lattimore cannot give up that long pass down the sideline as well. So these big-time players that we're expecting to make big-time plays, they got to show up early, especially in a game of this magnitude.
Sure, but Marshawn Lattimore does seal that last interception. The game's over.
But you can't. We're expecting you to shut this down. You got to lock this down. That's who you are.
Okay.
Handle your business.
You've been critical of that defense all year. What grade do you give them today?
C.
Okay. What's your initial reaction after this game, Shannon?
I think they got away with it. You fall behind 14-0 on the road, you're going to get beat the brakes off you. They need to play better. I believe they will play better. I think the Rams will play better. I think the Rams are going to make a conscious effort to keep this crowd out of the ball game. And the best way to keep the crowd out of the ball game is to run the football and control the clock and keep the Saints offense off the field. Because you're like, yeah, we got Ndamukong Suh, and yeah, we got Aaron Donald, but the best way to slow down a potent offense is to keep them off the field.
20 straight points after falling behind 14-0. What changed for the Saints?
Well, I thought after that first scripted 15 that Philly had, I just didn't see them being able to. They didn't adjust. Like, they had them on their heels, and I really believe it would have been great for them to be able to run the ball.
Right.
And they had a kid from Notre Dame, Adams, that was running the ball great. And he was active today and didn't play. And so I think Philly actually helped the Saints out because they kind of got conservative. You know, they went 3 and out. The Saints did play better. But honestly, the Saints couldn't get pressure on Nick Foles. He just missed some throws today. I mean, let's just call it what he missed some throws.
If you remember last year during the run, they had LeGarrette Blount, they had Jay Ajayi, and they ran the ball. Now they can play action and get those big plays over the top. Now the team's like, we're just going to play you for the pass because we don't believe you can run. Look, Sproles is good, Smallwood is good. But they can't run the ball with the conviction like they could last year.
And what do teams do? If Tom Brady get up on you 14-0, you know what's coming? Sony Michel for the run up. We saw it today.
Yeah, they don't have the capability.
They don't have
Were
it.
you guys surprised by how close this game was, though, given what they did the first go-around against the Eagles?
Well, we knew Foles would bring something to the table. They don't want to admit it, but, I mean, Wentz was horrible the last time these two played one another. He was horrible. Didn't play well, is understatement. They were horrible.
This is Nick Foles' agent, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm calling like I see it.
Deion
Y'all quit
Sanders, the
sugarcoating that
agent.
thing. Let me tell you something. We knew Nick Foles would get the ball down the field, spread it out, make the throws that he needed to make, avoid the pass rush, and he played an adequate game. Did he play a great game? No, he didn't play a great game, but he didn't hurt his team as well.
We knew the game would not be 48-7. I thought the game would be a little higher scoring. I thought the game would be somewhere in the high 20s, maybe 28-24, something of that nature. I was surprised that Philly only put up 14 points. And if you look at New Orleans, the last month of the season, ever since they played the Cowboys, they hadn't been the same offense.
Right.
12-10, they won 12. They lost 13-10 to the Cowboys. They won 12-9 to Carolina. So they haven't been the same team offensively. Defense, they've been unbelievable. But offensively, they hadn't been the same team.
They have to get somebody else besides Michael Thomas to generate plays
They tried
for them.
to. He got hurt.
I know they are. Yeah.
Okay, well, we will be talking more about that Saints-Rams game as well as what Philly should do with Nick Foles. But let's take a look at the schedule for Championship Sunday. Rams taking on the Saints, that I just mentioned. And then over in the AFC, it's a rematch of the Patriots and the Chiefs, this time in Kansas City. And for the first time ever in the playoffs, you guys, it's the top 4 scoring offenses who remain. All right, let's figure out how Tom Brady and them boys got it done. Sorry, LT. Phillip Rivers wasn't getting much time to work in the pocket, constantly under pressure, getting sacked twice, a total of 7 hits. How were they able to get so much pressure on him, Chan?
Yeah, I was surprised that he got a lot of pressure, but they crowded the line of scrimmage. They pressed the receivers. Plus, you can play this kind of coverage because Phillip Rivers is not going anywhere. You can play 22-man, which is two deep safety man underneath. Because where's Phillip going to go?
I don't know, but I'll tell you where the Patriots running backs are going.
Where Tom going?
I mean, they had it working in all aspects. Sony Michel, James White, even Rex Burkhead was going to get in on the action.
James hurts you so much. So after backfield, James is, well, he hurts you so much catching the ball.
Sony Michel capped it off with a 5-yard touchdown there. Patriots win 41-28.
Just imagine they'd have had Eddie Kane playing.
So Patriots dominance in the Brady-Belichick era cannot be overstated. They are headed to their 8th straight conference championship game. Unreal, which is 3 seasons longer than any other franchise. As for the Chargers, they are headed home, and Phillip Rivers was understandably upset after the game. Take a listen.
Like every team, when you go into the game, you expect to win, and certainly thought we were going to have a better outing, but we didn't. So it is emotional, just because I think you know how hard it is to get to January the 13th and be in a playoff game. You're talking an 8-9 month deal, and to come up short again is tough. But a lot of good this year. I think as the dust settles, you can appreciate more of that, but certainly disappointing finish.
Your 8th straight AFC Championship game, and it's a rematch against Kansas City. This time, though, in Arrowhead. What can we expect from that one?
It'll be a good game. They're a good team, and we played them earlier this year. I know, everyone thinks we suck and, can't win any games, so we'll see. It'll be fun.
I mean, 8th straight AFC Championship game. You're the only guy up here who's been rooting for this team.
I didn't hear you. My earpiece went out. What'd you say?
Yes. Deion
She's right here on top
is
of you.
the
They're not talking like they're in control.
the only guy up here that had the Patriots in the championship game. You two had the Chargers. Yeah. Deion, why were you so confident in this team?
Because this team is a team that still have the most important pieces. They've been consistent. They've been on the team and consistent for the last several years. Player. Consistency with the numerous amount of players and the head coach is probably the greatest of all time. These guys here, they got bored in the regular season. They got bored, man. They knew they were going to win the division. You say it's a simplistic division, no challenge in it. We knew they were going to win it. It was just where they were going to be seated. And they got complacent.
LT, your team, defensively, if you're Gus Bradley, you know the recipe to beat Tom Brady is what?
You got to get pressure on Brady.
So how come you got none?
Yeah. I think the Patriots did a good job of keeping the Chargers off balance by running it early. When Sony Michel broke through a couple of times early on, and it was clear that The Chargers couldn't take anything away. They couldn't take that run away. That makes it awfully hard because that play-action pass is coming now. Then you got Julian Edelman running behind the linebackers and Gronk running behind the linebackers, and you can't stop them once that happens. If you can't stop the run, you won't be able to stop the play-action pass.
Does Gus Bradley understand how hard it is to actually stop an offensive team from running the football when you're playing with 6 or 7 DBs? Because if it was a strategy that would work, everybody would use it. There's a reason why teams normally trot 6 or 7 DBs on the field. It's a passing down. They said, you know what, okay, that's what you want to do. You want to put 7 DBs on the field. We're going to run it. We're going to make your DBs hold up against offensive linemen. We're going to make your DBs hold up against Gronk in the run game, and let's see how you do.
Speaking of run game, the Chargers had 19 yards on the ground. Yeah. You can't win like that.
You can't win like that. And the recipe for them has been able to run the football with Melvin Gordon. And listen, Melvin had 2 knee braces on his knees.
I thought he was a lineman.
He wasn't. He wasn't healthy. And so it was clear that it was going to be a tough day running the ball. But at the end of the day, the Patriots dominated the line of scrimmage. We can't understate that.
We've got about 30 seconds before we have to go to break. But, of course, we all know Phillip Rivers and what he's done for that organization, future Hall of Famer, undoubtedly. Is it time, though, to draft an heir apparent?
Well, yeah, I think I don't know about next year. I know it's time to at least draft a player. Not saying that player needs to start next year. I do think Phillips should still start.
Yeah. All right. Well, the Patriots, again, are on to the AFC Championship game, this time on the road. Coming up, we will talk about how the Rams ran what?
Rough shot.
It's not rough shot. It's rough shot over the Cowboys to punch their ticket to the NFC title game. And in the AFC Championship preview, Brady and your homeboy, Shannon, we will talk all things AFC Championship next.
Brady in his presence said everybody thinks you guys suck, but you guys just keep on doing it and keep on getting it done, man.
Gotta embrace it. They need a bad guy. They need a bad guy. We'll be the bad guy.
From the start, the C-Class was ahead of its time. Still, we never stopped making it stronger, faster, smarter. Because to be the best is to never, ever stop making it better. The new 2019 C-Class family. Mercedes-Benz. The best or nothing.
My life has been a series of moments. Seized.
FS1, it's a Big Ten doubleheader with double the dunks, double the denials, get out of here, double the daggers. Nebraska, Indiana, then Wisconsin, Maryland. Monday, beginning at 6 Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app.
Fox 47 invites you to join the club, the Yes Club. Be the first to know about all of our great giveaways. Join the Yes Club, and you're on your way to winning the hottest tickets and other great offers. Sign up once and never miss out on another contest again. Just go to fox47news.com, click the Yes Club icon. Plus, you can increase your chances of winning each contest by sharing on social media. Join the Yes Club and be a winner today.
In a world in need of integrity, Fox 47 presents a team of superheroes that will rule your daytime. The League of Justice, bringing truth, compassion, humor to a city yearning for fairness, led by the masked crusader Judge Millian.
What business do you have having a minor who's 16 go with you instead of her parents? You're a grown man.
People's Court puts naughty people in their place.
Up until this point, had you heard anything about you having a daughter?
Then, Paternity Court saves the day by finding out who is your daddy.
I'll dismiss your case and throw you out. Got it?
The Mighty Mathis.
You're lucky they didn't file charges against you, because quite frankly, if I were the deputy DA in the case, I would have filed a hate crime against you and I would have sought state prison.
And the sizzling New York hot bench blazed the trail for the Queen of the Court, Judge Judy.
Because you were being paid in cash that you weren't reporting.
The League of of Justice rules weekdays on Fox 47.
The corners of a city street, a table in a cafe seat. I've got you everywhere I go. You're everywhere, got you everywhere. Everywhere I roam. You're everywhere, got you everywhere. Everywhere I go. Whoa, go. Everywhere I go.
Time now for We Live for This, presented by Pepsi.
Here we go. Here we go. Playoff football, baby. There's nothing better, and it's game day, so it's time to turn up the heat.
They're going to bring it on an end around. Tyreek Hill gets a block. 35-30. Jet speed. 25-20. Snowshoes. Touchdown. Kansas City. The cheetah can run in the snow. Mahomes scrambling to the right side. Holding it. Pump faking. Diving for the far front pylon. Touchdown. Mahomes runs it in. Luck to throw his head. The ball's out. The ball's out. The Chiefs have it. Luck runs out of luck. And now the Chiefs Kingdom will host the AFC Championship for the first time ever.
The playoffs return to LA. One of these teams is going to play in the NFC Championship game next week. They give to Gurley. Huge hit. Huge lane middle. The 25 breaks left. 15-10. Gurley the touchdown. 4th and 1. They give to Elliott straight ahead, and the Rams are fighting them every step of the way. They just got a 4th down stand. Goff under center, turns left, gives to Anderson, and he puts it in the paint. The Coliseum erupts. The Rams will go to the NFC Championship game.
That offensive line did their thing for the Rams. The Rams were able to run the ball all over to the tune of, 273. Both Gurley and Anderson each got 100. What did you think when you were watching that game? How were they able to be so successful against a good run defense?
You know what I thought? I said the Rams looked at that film between the Cowboys and the Colts and saw that the Colts hurt the Cowboys on the interior of the line of scrimmage. And that's where they went. See, the Rams are the type of team that they're going to try to run it early. And if it's working, they're going to keep on doing it and keep on doing it. But if it's not, then they can go to doing something else. But as long as it's working, they're going to keep on running it. And the Cowboys can do nothing about it.
Anderson made them quit.
That big fella told it.
You normally see Van Der Esch howling because he had called him the Wolf Hunter, and Jalen Smith, he flexing his muscle. After the end of the first quarter, they didn't want to see CJ anymore. And now, because they're totally different runners.
I was going to say,
they're totally different. But it's something, look, Time played a long time, LT played, I played. There's something about moving a man against his will. When you put your hand in the dirt, I put my hand in the dirt. Who's the bigger man today? Ooh. Because, I can trick you with a pass play. Right. I can run a double move. I can run a reverse. I can run a flea flicker and throw it down the field. But when I line up and put my knuckles in the dirt and my veins start to flex out and yours start to flex.
This is like...
If I was to say that, I'd have been so mad. I'd have came back out in the second half with a neck roll on. So this is what y'all want to do? This is what y'all want to do? We'll do this.
Dion, what's the Cowboys' first order of business this offseason?
They got to go get a big D tackle. Yeah. They got to get a big tackle to shore up that. And secondly, it's a guy named Antonio Brown, man, that's looking for a home. That if you put that guy out there...
You want Dallas to have everybody.
And he's a bona fide #1 receiver, arguably the best in the game. I would move 2 receivers to get 1 Antonio Brown. Because I know what I'm going to have for the next 3, 4, 5 years. Zeke is going to be good for 3, 4, 5 years. Dak balling, so he's going to be good for a minute.
Really?
I would do that. I would do that. Because Dallas want to win right now. You got to seize the...
Well, yeah, we saw what a difference Amari made. I mean, you brought up the point the last couple of weeks. They ended up being 8-2 down the stretch with the acquisition of a guy like Amari. So can you imagine what they would do with somebody like Antonio?
I would go get a safety. I agree with Time because I don't know if I can count on David Irvin. I don't know how much faith I can put in Randy Gregory given what they have to deal with seemingly every single year. But you're going to have to pay DeMarcus Lawrence.
Well,
DJ Swearinger's out there.
You got DeMarcus, a lot of unrestricted or upcoming free agents in this thing. Beasley, Irving.
Oh, that Beasley the guy.
Well, look at this list, though, of all these free agents.
Man. DeMarcus Lawrence is the first order of business.
I know, but Beasley could play.
Let's go back to the Patriots. Julian Edelman had himself a game. Dion, he was so good. He balled and he got the what?
He got the call, baby.
Let's go prime time, presented by Geico.
You had 9 catches, buck 51, man, and you need 141 yards, I'm reading, to pass Michael Irvin, man, for second all-time in the playoffs behind the GOAT. You know, Jerry Rice, that has to be satisfying and gratifying to you.
It's pretty cool, but it don't mean nothing unless we win. So you know how that goes. You know, and I'm more worried about that, going out there and trying to play a team like Kansas City. I mean, it'll be cool to one day think about it, but right now I got those blinders on, trying to be like Seabiscuit.
You guys are like the little engine that could, man. A lot of people don't believe in you. Nobody gave you a shot, but you just, I think I can. I think I can. It seems like, yet and still, here you guys go. There you go.
Little engine that could right there, you know what I mean?
Brady in his presser said everybody thinks you guys suck, but you guys just keep on doing it and keep on getting it done, man.
Gotta embrace it. They need a bad guy. They need a bad guy, we'll be the bad guy.
When you gonna shave, man?
We'll see.
When you win it, right? When you win it, that's you
We'll
can't
see.
say you can't say that, but when you win it, you gonna shave. Because you know, I like that clean cut, that suave, that model looking cat, you know? That's my dude, man.
You see Rocky IV when he had to go to Russia? He just screwed that thing out. He got his blinders on. I'm not trying to be a sex symbol right now. I'm just trying to go out and play football.
That playoff beard coming up on Game Day Prime. The AFC Championship is set. It's a rematch of Brady, Julian Edelman, and Patrick Mahomes. We'll show you what happened back in Week 6, and our guys will tell you what will be different next Sunday. Don't go anywhere. What will be different, Shannon?
With Dodge, racers come in all sizes. Background sets and elements each sold separately.
Count Pamplemousse, since you are my guest, I will try your meat. Indeed. It's got an amazing mouthfeel. Nope, I can't do it. 2 Bud Lights, please. But I don't like Bud Light. They're both for me.
Bud Light, for the many, not the few.
I'm Dak. If you're like me, you don't get much downtime, which is why I'm shooting a soup commercial while training. Chunky soup is packed with hearty meat and veggies, so when I do find time to eat, it is oh so good. Campbell's Chunky, soup that eats like a meal.
With Dodge, racers come in all sizes. Background sets and elements each sold separately.
Undefeated welterweight world champion Keith Thurman squares off against Josecito Lopez. PBC on Fox, January 26th.
Slide into an all-new water park experience, only at Soaring Eagle Water Park and Hotel. Our new interactive water slides let you choose your own light and music, compete against friends, and easily share your experience on social media. And you'll still earn and redeem points at Soaring Eagle Water Park, Soaring Eagle Casino, and Saganing Eagles Landing Casino. It's a whole new way to water park, exclusively at Soaring Eagle Water Park and Hotel, Mount Pleasant. Book your family getaway now at SoaringEagleWaterPark.com.
Now, Marge, your eyes must stay completely covered for 2 full weeks.
Don't worry, honey. I'll be your seeing eye Homer. We're in some kind of doctor room, bunch of stuff on the walls. It's kind of hard to describe. I'm going to take my break now.
Homie, I haven't held Maggie all day. Can you hand her to me?
No problem, sweetie.
Ooh, Mommy's little baby is getting big and chubby. Who's a chubby baby? But that doesn't mean that you can't have a little dinner. You're not usually this greedy.
Cool it. She's getting suspicious.
You cool it. I'm hungry. Good night, Bart. I'll be right in, Lisa. Good night, Lisa. Good night. Ooh, Keep going and I'll scat. Ski bitter bip bop boo.
Simpsons, weeknights at 11 on Fox 47.
It's never too soon to look ahead to next season. Which team that fell in the divisional round is in great shape for September? For the first time in 3 seasons, the Patriots are on the road for the title game. How playing in Arrowhead changes the Brady-Mahomes rematch. And we've got an NFC Championship preview. The Saints had Jared Goff and Crew's number in the regular season. Will the Rams be ready for the second go-around? So the schedule is set for Championship Sunday. Patriots take on the Chiefs in the AFC, and then you got the Rams and the Saints in the NFC. And the Patriots' road to Atlanta, presented by Mercedes-Benz, now goes through Kansas City. So to get you guys up to speed on what happened the last time they met, Week 6, the Chiefs put their undefeated record on the line with a trip to Foxborough. Tony Michel carried the load for the Pats in this one, first half finding the end zone not once, but twice. Extended New England's lead at the break 24-9. Chiefs
Why ain't saying that,
came out of the locker room.
But I'm talking now.
Scoring points in the first 4 possessions.
Look at it is.
Tyreek Hill.
They ain't gonna let that happen. You think they better let one man? They ain't gonna let one man do that again.
Including that 75-yard strike to tie the game with 3:03 remaining. Too much, though, for Tom Brady, who completed all 3 passes thrown on a 7-play, 65-yard drive. He orchestrated, capped off by a Rob Gronkowski. 500th career reception, set up the field goal, the 28-yard field goal by Gronkowski as time expired. So, LT, what is the key for the Chiefs to win this time around?
Well, the Chiefs just got through playing a team like the Colts, who, in my opinion, play similar to what the Patriots are doing right now, which is they're running the football. And so I believe they already have the right game plan. They got to stop the run. Sony got off last time. They got to start the game, make sure they shut that out, and then push the middle of the pocket on Brady, get pressure on Brady, and that's the blueprint. If they do that, they have a great chance at winning it.
I'm doubling Edelman. You got to you shut off the run. Okay, Brady's going to do Brady. But I'm taking Edelman away. You got to put, look.
Gronk said, hey.
Oh, okay. Look, when I watch Gronk run, I hurt. Because that's how
sticks and stones may break our bones. But words ain't gonna never hurt, bro.
I just think the thing is you have to take the first throw away and give Jones and give Ford and give Justin Houston a chance to get there. But you got the pressure. If you just play zone, you can't give him a steady diet of anything. But if you just play zone and says, okay, let's go to an area, Brady's too good, he will figure you out.
I know this team is going on the road to play this game, but you know how satisfying it is for me to know if I'm in that locker room, hey, man, we already beat these cats. Already beat them once this season.
Because giving you the confidence that you can do it again.
I don't need the confidence, but it's good to have.
Well, you should have. You need a little bit more confidence because
if you beat me at your house, if you cut them out, I
don't care
I was gonna say,
house it is. A beating is a beating. A beating is a beating. When you was little, your mama whoop you in school or whoop you at home. Both of them are the same beating. It hurt. Okay, let me tell you something.
Well, your boys haven't won on the road in an AFC championship game. True. They win at home in championship
3 and 5 on the road.
It don't matter.
Okay, I'm
winners.
just telling you. Okay.
They're winners.
Well, not on the road in AFC championship games.
These guys can do. Let me tell you something. This is not Indy. Indy, we ain't even talk about this.
No,
it seems like they were out-coached. It seemed like they were outmatched. They was out everything. Indy was out everything. They made me mad. They made you mad, too.
No, they did not have Kansas City. They had my homeboy.
Well, Indy played the game that they thought they needed to play. They wanted to try to run the football with Marlon Mack, and they couldn't do that. And here's the other thing. The Chiefs lead the league in sacks, man. So they're going to get the pressure. If they shut off the run, then
you gotta
what?
Stop the run.
And the Chiefs will give up that thing on that back end like no other. Like no other LT.
But at least they will play press coverage. They're not going to sit back and
they're 31st against the pass, but they at least got pressure up front. 32, but that's not important right now. LT, you know what this is? This isn't the AFC Championship game. This is the Dion versus Shannon Championship game because you got my homeboy and you got Brady.
No, LT right on with him. LT right on with him. He's been
but it's well documented.
He's been separated himself from me. I thought we had something special, but he separated himself weeks ago.
My brother, you know I can't go with the Patriots. My history with them. My history with them.
So why will your homeboy, or why will your guys' homeboy have success against Brady this time around?
Well, I think the thing is they spotted him too much. You spotted on the road. You gave a team 2 turnovers. You turned the ball over twice, and it's 24-9. But for you to get back in the game and make it tie the ball game up late, you know, Tom Brady was going to be Brady. But Mahomes is the MVP. He showed you Saturday.
You can stop using that.
He showed you.
That's not going to help you.
He showed you Saturday why he will win that award. And again, Travis Kelce.
I love me some Kelce.
And that little dude,
And to
Cheetah.
add to your
Hey, the
point,
Cheetah's one of the baddest ones in the game.
You're giving Patrick Mahomes a second opportunity to basically reach a mail. So he saw the Patriots at their house the first time.
Yeah.
Now he got them in this house, and he done seen
And
this
he can
before.
vote.
And that,
But you
and that defense,
But
if
you
you're
ain't
the
getting Brady
Chiefs,
in
that
second,
defense has to have a lot of confidence after what they did against the Colts to now take on.
Yeah.
Because if they were the Achilles heel, you're like, well, it's on tape that we did pretty well in this last one. Guess what? NFC Championship is a rematch from Week 9. Your MVP, Dion, Drew Brees,
Bowling.
was unstoppable in the first half back then in Week 9. Everyone got a chance to get in on the action.
That's a matchup night, man.
3 touchdowns in the
Rams
first
back end be giving it up 2 times.
half.
Real.
Midway through the second quarter, though, the Rams ran a fake field goal. Johnny Hecker couldn't get the first down. Then later in the second, Goff gets intercepted. The Saints would capitalize with some touchdowns off of both Rams' mistakes that led to a 35-17 score at the half. But
It's going to be a high-scoring game.
Jared Goff was able to put things together there. So Saints are up 38-35 with 4 minutes left when Michael Thomas takes a pass 72 yards for the game-sealing touchdown. Channeling Joe Horn's flip phone celebration right there. We all remember that. So the Saints won 45-35. So
you
why
put out
would
a
it
phone
be
on the keys, you can get it swung on. I'm just letting you know.
Shannon,
Yes.
why will it be different this time around if you're a Rams fan?
Well, they couldn't stop. You know, they turned the ball over early, and then the avalanche started, and they couldn't stop it. And I just think the thing is that you run the football. You don't get, even if you fall behind early, because, you know, LT was mentioning earlier, a lot of times they'll fall behind, and Sean McVay will go away from the run. But don't go away from it so soon. You're still in the ball game, even if you're down 7-0, even if you're down 14-0. Stick with it a little while, because if you let this thing avalanche in the championship game, you getting up out of there early. By halftime, that game be over.
Yeah, and if you're this Rams team and you're sitting at home today, knowing you're headed to the NFC Championship game and you're watching what the Saints did today in their slow start, what are you seeing where you can say, all right, we can have success against them this time
Run
around?
the ball. You got to run the ball and be physical up front, like you just were. I mean, extremely physical like they were against Dallas. The Rams' mistake to me was early on in the season, instead of just dedicating themselves to the run, it seems like they wanted their quarterback to be the MVP. They wanted him to be in the MVP race. And they was just throwing the ball a little too much. When you have a running game that's unparalleled.
Like that one.
Yes. Now you got a 2-headed monster, just like the Saints do.
So if you guys both agree you need to run the ball, LT, I'm going to assume that you also say run the ball. So if you're the Saints defense, then how do you stop a running 2-headed monster like Anderson and Gurley?
Well, here's the thing. What the Rams do well is perimeter run. They're going to start out with that outside zone run. And so it's critical for the Saints. Their defensive ends, Cam Jordan and those boys, they got to make sure they keep contained. That's going to be the key. If they keep contained and not let Ty Gurley and CJ get on the outside or take that run between the tight end and that tackle, if they control that area of the field, then they'll have a good chance at winning that battle.
And if CJ gets the ball, stay where it's supposed to be. There's a good chance he'll come back to you.
Right.
What's the biggest difference in their run style?
Well, CJ really is a one-cut downhill type of guy.
Power.
He's power, but he got good feet. Todd is a big guy, but he's a great athlete. He's elusive. You know, he can cut it back. He can bounce it outside.
He can hit on the goalpost from anywhere.
His speed, once he bursts through the hole, that's what's surprising. He's big and fast, and he runs past a lot of people.
You think he's back?
He's not completely healthy. I'm not going to say. I think he's less than 90%, honestly. But
I think he's less than 85, 80. I think he might be less than 80%. But when you got CJ is a big game back. And people forget.
CJ a big back. Forget the game. CJ about at least 2 yards wide. Coming downhill.
He ain't got downhill. I promise you, he don't have a weigh-in weight. He just show up, you just run hard. Don't even worry about your weight, son. And that just goes to show you, that you need to persevere. Because think about it. He got cut by the Broncos. He got benched and released by the Carolina. The Raiders signed him and then cut him without even giving him an opportunity to carry the football. And he's sitting on his couch. Trust me, eating, because you saw it.
Why you got to say the man eating?
He wasn't. I thought he had a flap jacket. I thought he had a flap jacket on last night.
Whatever. He's eating all right in yards that he got yesterday against the Cowboys.
Games with the Raiders. I mean the Rams.
We're taking a break on Game Day Prime, but
I love you, CJ.
Once again, the Eagles finished the regular season without Carson Wentz. So Nick Foles led the postseason run. So what does Philly do at that quarterback position this offseason? One of these guys has the answers. Plus, which running back is set to have the best game next Sunday? LT has that answer as we go on the clock for No Huddle. Till next.
How do you gauge the greatness of an SUV? Is it to carry cargo or to carry on a legacy? Its show of strength or its sign of intelligence? In crossing harsh terrain or breaking new ground? And to do these things once or 7 times over? This is the Mercedes-Benz SUV family. Get the 2019 GLC starting at $40,700. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
They didn't think they'd get this far. Or meet them. Or him. Or realize just how fun a road trip could be. They discovered a new favorite food, a new favorite view, and made some new favorite memories. Book your flights, hotel, and car on Expedia, and travel like a champion. Expedia.
I didn't used to believe in monsters, but I do now.
Excuse me. Is it at all possible that you're knitting a pair of pants? Oh, no, you're understandably terrified. Allow me to explain. 45 days ago, I embarked on a railroad journey of healing because when my university was making me do string theory, my favorite comic book store burned down, and when my roommate got engaged, my girlfriend wanted to move in with me, which was no doubt a ploy just to see my, well, excuse my language, but my bathing suit parts. Sir, may I use your phone?
I don't think so.
I understand that I'm half naked, but there is a reasonable explanation. While I slept in my sleeper car, all my possessions were stolen. Now, typically I wear pajamas, but I recently adopted a hobo lifestyle, and pajamas are the sleep pants of the man. I'll have you know, Mahatma Gandhi wore no pants, and a nation rallied behind him. My good man, now before you walk away, I know that I may appear deranged, but I am, in fact, a world-renowned physicist. Ask me the difference between a boson and a fermion. You go ahead, ask. Bosons have integer spin. Fermions have half-integer spin. My legs are getting cold. Why won't anybody help me? I'll give you a plan right now. Step 1, open comic book store. Step 2, start rumor this comic book store gives you genital warts. Step 3, buy a big bag to put the money in. It's not that bad.
It's a Big Bang Theory. 5 nights a week.
Weeknights at 6 and 7 on Fox 47. On February 3rd, 2019, at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia, the NFL welcomes a global music sensation.
Try to tell you no, but my body keeps on telling you yes. Try to tell you stop, but your lipstick got me so.
It's the Pepsi Super Bowl halftime show, featuring Maroon 5.
Baby, give me one more night.
With guest performances by Big Boy and Travis Scott.
Take another look. The Eagles, Saints, Drew Brees 5-0 at home in the playoffs. Third quarter, Saints ball, first and goal. And Michael Thomas.
That's tough to cover.
Saints leading 17-14. Eagles ball trailing 20-14. Second and 10. 2 minutes left. Nick Foles Oh, through the hands of Alshon Jeffrey, intercepted by Marshawn Lattimore.
You see what he saw? You see what he saw?
No, but they hitting that.
That's how it ends. Saint would go on to win 20-14 and advance to the NFC Championship game to take on the Rams. Here's Doug Peterson after the loss.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough because it's so final. You know, you're here at the end of the season. There's no more football. You know, for 2018, and just told the guys, you know, just keep their heads up. And we set out on a journey way back in OTAs, and we keep talking about having no regrets. You know, and leave everything out on the field. And they did that tonight. You know, they did that this afternoon, and they battled right to the end. We had opportunities. So proud of them, proud of the season, proud of the adversity that we faced all season long, and you know, found our way to get into the postseason, and you know, just wish the Saints you know, good luck going forward.
It sucks right now. I mean, everyone in the locker room, we all down. Like I said, I let my teammates down. I let the city of Philadelphia down. That's on me. We'll be back next year for sure.
Where do you go from here personally?
One play don't define me. I mean, all the greats had missed game-winning shots, dropped pass, touchdowns. So it happens. It's part of football. I mean, I just hated the way it happened in the playoffs, and it was a defining moment.
Why does that make me sad? Time to go no huddle. We're going 2 minutes on the clock, and we get through as many topics as we can. LT, you're up first. Which running back will have the biggest impact on Championship Sunday?
I think it's Todd Gurley. You know, he's the most talented running back, and I think against that defense, against the Saints, I believe they can be ran on.
Okay. Shannon, best tight end on the field next Sunday?
Kelsey.
Okay.
Not even close.
Dion, which wide receiver do you trust the most next Sunday?
Edelman.
Okay. LT, which type of quarterback will win the Super Bowl? The young guns in Mahomes and Goff, or the veterans in Brady or Breeze?
It's a young man's game. No, and so it will be one of the young guns.
Like y'all get totally different.
Young gun.
Y'all
my homeboy.
Y'all sit up here 50
Shannon,
years old.
Yes.
Sean Payton brought in $225,000 in cash and the Lombardi Trophy into the locker room as motivation. Do you like the move?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah?
I love that move.
What do you love about it?
You know, look at that.
The cash
money.
Man.
That get me motivated. And then we go to the Super Bowl in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Do you know what I can do with that?
You know what? Speaking of motivated, we got a guy that motivates me, man. But he does not motivate corners to get out there and try to cover him, because this man here is unbelievable. Michael Thomas, what's up, baby?
Let's get it.
How you doing, man?
You already know. The ski mask way.
Hey,
Yes,
you set it off today, man. What is it about the connection and the timing and the chemistry that you and Drew Brees has that's gotten you guys so much success this year?
Man, I love him. I love him, and I try to show that with my play. I try to show that with my my competitiveness. I try to show that when I go out there and bully guys in my flex. I try to let them know I'm here for him. You know, he has a tough job being back there with all that pressure, people in his face. You know, he's played a long time too. He's getting older, so I got to be that guy. I got to be that dog for him. I got to be that guy that's his safety blanket, bail him out. It's all for him and my teammates.
Well, who was that guy in the huddle or on the sideline or on the field when you guys was down by a couple touchdowns? Who was that guy who was saying, guys, we okay, we got this, we cool, we good?
All of us. We knew what time it was. Even Sean Payton, you know, he told us throughout the week they weren't going to come in and just lay it down and just give us the game. We're gonna be in a battle. It was all about how we responded, and that just goes to show great coaching we have and great leadership we have.
Hey, Michael, can you point to a play that actually changed that game for you guys? Because it seemed like they had the momentum in the beginning, but all of a sudden the momentum switched. Do you know what play for you guys changed the game?
I would say that when we faked the punt, I kind of felt it there. I felt it personally there. You know, I had been in that situation when we were in Tampa, and Taysom blocked the punt. This time, you know, I always know he's going to come up and show up big in crunch time for us. But I feel like when we went for that and he got it, it gave us new life.
Mike Shannon Sharp here. Mike, you had 12 for $171 and a touchdown. And it seemingly, of those 12 catches, 8 of them were dagger routes, which is push up the field, 12 to 14 yards, break in. Are you surprised they didn't change the way they covered you on that route?
You know, I was just doing my job. When I heard the play come in, Drew repeated it. You know, I got lined up and I wanted to execute it to the best of my ability, no matter what they're playing, no matter who was in front of me. I know he doesn't make bad decisions, and when he puts that ball in there, I want to attack it and make the play for him because I trust him and I know he trusts me.
Like, I know you love matchups. I love matchups. We all love matchups. And you got a couple dogs you getting ready to see next week. And one of them, you went off. You went for 12 for 211 last time you played, but there's a new dog involved in this, Aqib Talib.
Yes, sir.
Do you welcome the challenge?
Of course. I welcome the challenge all the year. They cut on the film, they're going to see it. I know that I'm going to have to be at my best, though. I'm not underestimating nobody, but I'm up for the challenge. I'm ready to get to work and execute this game plan and come out here and play Sunday.
Amen. If you pull out a phone, you know you're going to have to fight Aqib. I'm just letting you know off the rip.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm retired, though. I'm going to have something new, though. Let me know if you got something.
Man, get the game, man. No penalties. No penalties, all right?
Yes, sir.
Hey, thank you. God bless you, man. I wish you the best.
God bless you, too. Thanks for having me.
Big congratulations to Michael Thomas. 12 receptions, 171 yards for him, and now his team is headed to the NFC Championship game. A lot of happy Saints fans, and Reggie Bush was making some of them happy as well. He surprised a longtime Saints fan and Air Force veteran, Therese Harper, with Super Bowl tickets at the game on Sunday. Harper served 15 years on active duty as a sergeant and has been deployed all around the globe. The giveaway is all part of an NFL initiative rewarding passionate fans, community leaders, and those that served our country. In total, 500 tickets to Super Bowl 53 will be given away. Very, very, very cool. Coming up, Game Day Prime. Carson Wentz is still on the mend, and Nick Foles, well, didn't end the day how he wanted it to go. So what does Philly do at the quarterback position this offseason? Our guys have the answer.
And he jumps over everybody. Touchdown. Oh, Travis Kelce.
Sir? Sir? Your order.
Awesome. Everyone's hyped because McDonald's 2 for $5 is back. So mix and match your choice of 2 favorites and get to celebrating.
Whether it's on the track or in your head, when you race to win. With Dodge, racers come in all sizes. Background sets and elements each sold separately.
My life has been a series of moments, seized.
Memories. What we deliver by delivering.
Half of everything sold on Amazon comes from small and medium businesses just like mine.
Get on the ball and work together. Come on, let's work together. Now, people, because together we will stand. Every boy, every girl, and a man.
Discover my business and many others like it at Amazon.
Count Pamplemousse, since you are my guest, I will try your meat.
Indeed. It's got an amazing mouthfeel. No, really take in the layered aromas.
They're layered.
It's got a fantastic after essence. Yeah, and of course, an umami-like complexity.
You know what? I tried. I can't. Bud Light, please. And show these two to the wine cellar.
The wine cellar?
Bud Light, for the many, not the few.
I'm Dak. If you're like me, you don't get much downtime, which is why I'm shooting a soup commercial while training. Chunky soup is packed with hearty meat and veggies, so when I do find time to eat, it is oh so good. Campbell's Chunky, soup that eats like a meal.
Want to stay up to date? Hey Siri, show me football scores.
Saints, Eagles, Drew Brees 5-0 at home in the playoffs. Third quarter.
MVP right there.
First and goal. Michael Thomas.
Oh, that game, baby.
Thomas finished with 12 receptions, 171 yards, and a touchdown. Fourth quarter, Eagles ball trailing 20-14. Second and 10.
Yeah.
Ooh. In the hands of Alshon Jeffrey.
He took his eye off of one man.
Intercepted by Marshawn Lattimore.
I feel sorry.
47. 47.
And that is how it ends.
I
The
feel
Saints
sorry.
would go on to win 20-14 and advance to the NFC Championship game against the Rams. So, Dion, you've alluded to it not even alluded to it, you've just said it the last couple of weeks, that the Eagles are in trouble this offseason because they've got a problem at the quarterback position because you believe it should be Nick Foles and not Carson Wentz.
The reason because he's consistent. You can't tell me that room. I get the least percentage I could give you, 75% of those players in that room. I guarantee you they're saying, Nick Foles, I got. Because they're into now. Football players are into the now. We're not into the, if we can't see you, you can't
Not
contribute.
denial, they're into the now.
To the now. Thank you for cleaning it up for me.
No, I'm just
That's
making
what
sure.
we're into. And Wentz has a history of being injured. He's never given them a full season, even in college. So this is what we're predicating things on, our decision-making process to see if you're going to get a long term. I don't see it. I'm riding with Foles.
Does anyone else agree or disagree? Or?
I disagree. Why do they have to do anything? Why do
Oh, he
anything?
got to go because
He's a free agent.
So you
Okay,
gonna play him
he's a
20
free
million?
agent. So I let him go. Carson Wentz
You
is
gonna
my
let him go?
franchise.
Then when
Carson
he
Wentz
get,
is my franchise
then when he
quarterback.
get hurt again, like he's done the last
so
3
here's
years
the-
of his career.
I think here's the thing that we're forgetting about, though. Carson Wentz was an MVP candidate, playing out of his mind before he got hurt, okay? Nick Foles won the Super Bowl, started this season, didn't play well. Remember, we were like, everybody, when is Carson Wentz coming back? We need Carson Wentz coming back. The Eagles are going under. Carson comes back, gets hurt again, but they're in playoff contention. And Nick Foles leads them through to the playoffs and on this deep run.
So are we going to forget what got Nick Foles out of Philly to begin with and got him to the Rams? So we're going to forget about that. And what got him out of the Rams and got him on Kansas City? The man was thinking about retiring.
Exactly.
So
You
now
talking
all
about
of a
the
sudden we're going
man
to forget all that.
yesterday. How can you conflict the man yesterday to the day? This is we're going to forget about the Super Bowl MVP?
If a man
We're
thinks
going to
about
forget
doing
about him holding up the Super Bowl trophy?
Okay, let
Come
me
on
ask you a
now.
question.
Once you think about retirement, it don't go away.
Let me ask you a question real
It's
quick.
always back there.
We have 15 seconds.
Yes.
Do we believe Nick Foles wants to stay in Philly?
Oh, he's only had success in Philly.
Okay.
Want to get paid.
I try to
Forget
resign.
Philly. Forget Philly. He want to get paid.
There's
No,
so
he
much
don't.
more we can
So
talk
long.
about. We'll do that next weekend.
Hey, Corey, quit calling me,
Have
man.
a good weekend.
From the start, the C-Class was ahead of its time. Still, we never stopped making it stronger, faster, smarter. Because to be the best is to never, ever stop making it better. The new 2019 C-Class family. Mercedes-Benz. The best or nothing.
Well, I went through your return line by line and everything looks great.
Oh, good. Thanks. Just so you know, my income won't always be this modest.
No worries. We're here to help.
But I got a lot of things happening, so next year it should be pretty impressive.
Yeah? Good for you.
I'm actually calling you from my yacht.
You're not in a yacht, you're in a conference room.
What was that?
Nothing. Just, one of my sailors.
You know they can't see you, right?
Is that true?
Oh, she's right.
You kidding me? Spent $9 on this coconut.
TurboTax Live, now with CPAs on demand.
They didn't think they'd get this far. Or meet them. Or him. Or realize just how fun a road trip could be. They discovered a new favorite food, a new favorite view, and made some new favorite memories. Book your flights, hotel, and car on Expedia, and travel like a champion. Expedia.
The Passage premieres tomorrow on Fox.
Hey, what have you been doing up there?
Honey, only ask questions that you really want the answers to.
He's a normal kind of fella.
Okay. We get a reward for being such a nice guy.
As long as nice guys don't finish first.
Oh my God, are we poor?
You are. We're doing very well. I know this might be too late to say, but I'm not sure we should have children. Oh, what are you dressed as?
Oh, a farm girl.
E-I-E, I know. I wasn't always this good at this.
That's That's Mike. We went to the mall!
Haters, gonna hate. Peace out.
On Last Man Standing. Weeknights at 7:30 on Fox 47.
Michigan is definitely a very interesting place to forecast the weather. We have changing things all the time. Everybody wants to hear, what's the forecast for tomorrow? How's it gonna be when I'm taking my kids to cheerleading practice at the end of the day? I'm from Howell, so I do really enjoy that I am still here in Michigan. I get to see my family all the time, something that I absolutely love. If I could choose one place to live for the rest of my life, love being here, love being in Lansing.
This week, we spend 2 days with Sean Payton. From his condo to his car to the stadium to the sky, the Saints head coach opens up like never before.
When you say a year, they are trying to break you.
On leading the team after the devastation of Hurricane Katrina.
We just had this whole thing as a young staff that we were not going to be allowed to say the K word.
And on the Bounty Gate scandal that left him suspended for an entire season.
It's one of the weaknesses of our commissioner in that there's too much emotion. And when the penalties came down, it was unprecedented.
Plus, we catch up with Peyton's players and his legendary mentor.
Only experience can get you that mentality.
All that's coming up right here on In Depth. So your interview with the Saints for the head coaching job. What were your initial impressions of New Orleans as a city when you land for the first time?
I wasn't here for Katrina. I was in Dallas. And I know the Saints then relocated to San Antonio. And so it was right after that season. It's now January of '06. And you could count on one hand, how many hotels and restaurants were open. And when I landed at the airport, getting off the plane all the way to baggage claim, I saw 2 people. It was like a ghost town. And I think as a region, as a country, I think there was more concern as to just the recovery of the city more than the team or you follow me? And so the idea of coming here and bringing a staff here, trying to bring a staff here, and make no mistake about it, it was a hard place to bring a staff before Katrina. It was one of the 5 or 6 cellar dwellers.
Describe the hotel you were supposed to live in when you first came to New Orleans.
Look, the challenge with that after Katrina was finding a hotel that the coaches that we're interviewing have to spend the night somewhere, and it has to be somewhere nice. And the first place we stay when we're getting together and we're bringing our staff, you go to hang your coats up in the closet and the door just kind of falls off. And it had gotten to where every challenge that we had and everything that went wrong, Katrina kept coming up as a reason. And I'm sure for a lot of those problems it was, and yet we just had this whole thing as a young staff that we were not going to be allowed to say the K word. We weren't going to allow anyone in the football operations to explain why they couldn't get their job done and use Katrina.
Hurricane Katrina and the subsequent levee failures flooded over 80% of the city in August 2005, and 30,000 evacuees were housed in the Superdome while waters subsided. Despite extensive damage inside and out, the stadium was renovated in time for the 3rd game of the Saints' 2006 season, where they defeated the Falcons 23-3.
That was the moment where I think everyone realized, New Orleans is coming back, and it's going to come back stronger than ever. So it was a symbol of what was to come.
I don't think I've ever been a part of something
quite as meaningful and as symbolic as that game, at least in sports.
First game back at the Superdome, the moment from that game that most sticks out to you is what?
We knew it was going to be a big night. This had to be a victory. You know, the Katrina stuff, that would be remembered forever, but the game we needed to win it. You know, we needed to play well. I don't think any one of us, as much as we knew how significant that game was going to be, could have really imagined what it felt like to be in that stadium that night. It was the loudest I can ever recall a stadium sounding, honestly.
That season, the Saints reached the NFC Championship game for the first time in franchise history, and after missing the playoffs in 07 and 08, they won their first Super Bowl in 2009. Did it compare to what you expected?
Shoot, the first person that I remember seeing and hugging was Kim Kardashian and her mother. They were there with Reggie, and I'm like, I'm trying to find Beth and the children. I've told our players this, it's 100 times greater than what you could ever expect. Like if I was trying to describe to you, Graham, you have no idea. It's this journey throughout with a good team. That's what was depressing about the ride home after the game is like this thing's stopping. Like I know we just won the final game, but you're kind of like, let's play 4 more. There's a lot of great things about the job, and then there are a lot of things that aren't good.
In Depth with Graham Bensinger is brought to you by Coors Light. Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Coors Light is cold packaged. For peak refreshment. The world's most refreshing beer, Coors Light.
Tag!
You're it.
Toyota, let's go places.
You get car sick a lot? I'll tell you what it is, you can't read in the car.
Or is it that I'm being kidnapped? I was someone the world thought they could throw away.
Explain to me why you need a kid. You know the people we work for, you can't cross them.
I would have been all alone if it wasn't for Brad Wolgast.
New plan. We gotta find someplace safe. Problem is, there's gonna be some bad guys looking for us.
Okay.
Okay?
I trust you. He risked everything to protect me. We became family.
I know he's your friend.
Doesn't matter.
These people are never gonna stop me.
We saw them change everything.
You might be the most important little girl in the world.
And I was afraid. I wish I knew then what I know now. That they should be afraid of me.
The Passage premieres this Monday on Fox.
Matt, I think I got my fantasy nights mixed up. Hey, Bill.
Hey, Matt.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
You sure?
Yeah.
Snickers satisfies.
In Depth with Graham Bensinger is brought to you by Snickers. You're off your game when you're hungry. Eat a Snickers.
The most satisfying moment of your career would be what?
Well, look, obviously winning a championship with a group of guys, coaches, players, it's every bit what you think and more, and it's what drives you here to get another one.
New Orleans head coach Sean Payton is one of 4 siblings with one younger sister and another sister and brother 10 and 11 years older.
It wasn't like 2 families, it wasn't like that, but the distance in age made it feel like that at times. It was unusual.
Sean's oldest brother followed in the footsteps of their father, Thomas, who put on magic shows as a side hobby.
That was his little outlet, so periodically he'd have doves in the basement. We were that family, or we had rabbits in the backyard.
Their mother, Jean, who worked as a clown after retirement, was Sean's biggest cheerleader.
Just always optimistic, even in your worst performance or your worst defeat as a coach. Mom, we were awful. No, you weren't. You're great.
Thomas died in 1997, and Jean followed in 2002, both while Sean was still in his 30s.
When you lose your second parent and someone brings up this word, you think of orphan. You know what I mean? That's different.
While in New Orleans, we tagged along for a preseason Saints game. It was an important week for the team. Peyton and his staff needed to cut down their roster by more than a third in preparation for the regular season.
It's difficult for these guys because, listen, they're wanting to put their best foot forward. Hopefully they can do that tonight.
We also caught up with Peyton's daughter, Megan, a senior in college, already getting an early start as a sideline reporter.
I'm excited for you guys.
Yeah, we are too.
How strange is it interviewing your dad?
Being able to kind of talk to him a little bit before and say like, hey, how's this question? Do you think this would be something you'd be wanting to answer? It's not something that you can get with many people, so it helps me a lot from my side of it, for sure.
Following a successful college career at Eastern Illinois University and a short and scattered run playing professionally, Peyton's first football job was as offensive assistant at San Diego State University. After jumping around to 3 other schools, he ended up in Philadelphia as quarterbacks coach for the Eagles under then offensive coordinator John Gruden.
So you thought you were working really hard in college, and then you get to the NFL and realize the demands are so much greater. In what ways?
Well, the immediate change was just getting to a place like Philadelphia, and all of a sudden, you're dealing with pro quarterbacks that have been in the NFL for 3 or 4 years, and a guy like John Gruden and a very talented staff, and you realize that you have to, in order to teach, you have to become, at some point, the expert. And I recall a lot of dark circles under my eyes, and John would yell at his office, I think he's close to going down, and it was part of being a new coach. Lack of sleep, trying to get caught up at work. It was hectic.
How often did you used to sleep at the office?
A lot in New York. There was a perfect couch.
And why?
Well, when you looked at a half an hour home and a half an hour in the morning, that equaled an hour. Do you want 4 hours or 5 hours? It was just the
sleep.
Yeah, in other words, and it happens, it'll happen now, only we have a sleep room. And so for a coach that's got a half an hour commute both ways on 2 nights of the week, that hour can be important.
During his stints with the Eagles and Giants, Peyton and his ex-wife Beth had 2 kids, Megan and Connor. After more than 20 years of marriage, they divorced in 2014.
It happened to him, so yeah, do we talk about some of those things that were similar? Sure.
We sat down with Peyton's mentor and former boss, Hall of Fame coach Bill Parcells, who shared his perspective on the toll the career can take.
I got divorced. I'm not proud of it. It's my fault. It was my fault. I was married for 39 years, while I was really married to something else, and that's the game.
Work ethic and sacrifices and the toll that takes on
all the above,
family.
Yeah.
You had to miss your younger sister Molly's wedding. How do you see the hours that you have to invest take their toll on family?
There's a lot of great things about the job, and then there are a lot of things that aren't good. When there are times where you're changing Christmas, everyone else thinks Christmas is Tuesday when it is, but Christmas at your house is Monday. Thanksgiving, we're playing. It's challenging in the fall. The time away is challenging.
Especially with the extraordinary success that you've had. I'd imagine that's a just internal battle at times. How do you reconcile the two?
Honestly, I think it's still something that I find myself still working on and thinking about, and there's still regrets. There's still...
Like what?
Just how much it can consume you. It's missing just little things, the little steps that take place as your children grow. when there's like the first steps taken or the first word spoken. It's a very selfish profession at times. I think that's one of the things that you try to work on more is finding a better balance. One that can still sustain success, but also at home. Our league's no different than a large political party. They're experts at pushing their message through the media.
In Depth with Graham Bensinger is brought to you by Chevy. Chevy has earned J.D. Power Dependability Awards across cars, trucks, and SUVs.
Thanks for coming today. So some of you are Honda owners and some of you are Toyota owners, right?
Yep. Yes.
Would you be surprised to hear that Honda is the most reliable car company?
No. Honda's reliable.
Well, it's actually not Honda.
Really?
Whoa!
Wow. What?
Toyota! I mean, I knew in my heart Toyota is one of the best brands out there.
It's actually not Toyota either.
Chevy.
It's Chevy.
You had me bragging.
Based on a nationwide survey, Chevy is more reliable than Honda and Toyota.
Wow.
I'm so impressed.
Chevy's killing it.
What time are you showing up for a home game, typically?
So 12 noon, usually 8 o'clock.
Okay.
Breakfast at 7, 8:15.
Yeah.
We're pulling in here.
You see your ticket? Oh, never mind.
There you go. We're good.
Come on down to Outdoor Man,
When do I get to shoot the crossbows?
where breaking the rules rules.
So you're 13, I don't even think it's legal. So we should do it after lunch.
Our camping department is intense.
Set it up in 30 seconds flat. And take it down even faster.
And we're always family friendly.
He's adorable. Listen, we found a bear cub in here.
Been nice knowing you, Baxter.
Outdoor Man is open for business on Last Man Standing.
Weeknights at 7:30 on Fox 47.
You don't have to worry about me, because I'm happy. I mean, I think that I would be happier if you could see the real me, because I'm...
Sorry, what'd you say?
I am gay.
Thanks for the news flash, Sid.
This is the closest I've ever played to Leslie, which you think, well, how hard could that be? But as a gay man who grew up in the 50s and the 60s, there was a lot of internal homophobia, a lot of self-loathing, and all of a sudden, here I am at 63 playing this character where I get to just be me. I've always been gay, and I'm really sorry that I kept it from you, but I like ice dancing and musical theater and making love to men. I suppose that last one's the main takeaway.
I'm glad you finally told me. I love you, Dad.
Oh, I love you, son.
First tattoo?
Yeah.
Relax, amigo. It's gonna look okay.
Only okay?
No worries, boss. I'm one of the tattoo artists in the city.
You mean one of the best tattoo artists in the city, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
Aren't you supposed to draw it first?
Stay in your lane, bro.
Just okay is not okay, especially when it comes to your network. AT&T is America's best wireless network according to America's biggest test. Now with 5GE, more for your thing. That's our thing.
In Depth with Graham Bensinger is brought to you by AT&T. AT&T, more for your thing. That's our thing.
All of a sudden, we just go on this tear. Forget just the Super Bowl, just a tear of 3 years where we were kicking ass. We were doing everything to keep that, and the only thing that could stop us was the bounty gate.
After leading the Saints to a 2009 championship and playoff appearances the following 2 seasons, Peyton hit the lowest point of his coaching career. The NFL accused the Saints of running a bounty system orchestrated by defensive coordinator Greg Williams, whereby players received cash bonuses for injuring their opponents.
What do you feel like, looking back, you did wrong?
Look, as a head coach, you're responsible for your staff. And when you have one outline coach that is a little bit overzealous, you know, you're responsible for that.
There's a prominent football writer who wrote a negative article about you and said something to the effect of, how can, you know, Sean Payton, who's micromanager in coaching,
how would he not know about any of this?
How would he not know that
Absolutely.
one of his coordinators the night before games meeting with half the team about this?
Listen, he's meeting with the defense. No, and make no mistake about it, it wasn't us saying, hey, this thing didn't, it was the idea that it continued for 3 years. Look, our league's had a history where when you get into the postseason, well, you're playing, you think you're playing hard to begin with. It wasn't injure and get this. It was, hey, this is what we need to do to be successful. And obviously the rhetoric, and it's still used by Greg today. I mean, it's crazy.
You said around that time, quote, it was frustrating at times to sit back and hear a lot of things that have been painted in a certain way that you know aren't true. Like what?
There were so many. One of the things that we've seen, and it's just the truth, our league's no different than a large political party. They're experts at pushing their message through the media. Look, it was in full force, it meaning the league, the machine, in pushing their message out early.
When the NFL investigation comes out and said, and found that you initially lied when asked about the existence of it and then instructed your, I guess, defensive assistants to lie, what was your reaction?
It was brutal. It was such a rigged, I can't even begin to tell you. The more and more people looked at it, and the more and more people looked at where the information came from. You know, the disgruntled Saints employee who happened to miss 2 weeks of work and never reported to any one of us where he was, that we knew we were firing after the season. The disgruntled employee who happens to work for the league now, and I happen, you know, we get wind from former league employees saying that this was a deal done. And the Saints, we knew better too. I think, look, we've done a lot of things well, but as an organization, we didn't handle that investigation very well at all.
There is no question that there was a bounty program in place for 3 years. I think that that is bad for the players, for the game.
Commissioner Roger Goodell ultimately handed down some of the most severe penalties in league history.
All that was pretty ridiculous.
Look, it's one of the weaknesses of our commissioner. There's too much emotion. When the penalties came down, it was foolish.
As punishment for Bountygate, the team was fined $500,000. And among numerous staff and player suspensions, GM Mickey Loomis was suspended 8 games, linebacker Jonathan Vilma for the entire season, and Greg Williams indefinitely. Though some punishments were later reduced, Sean Payton's was not.
And then I remember when Mickey called, and I said, well, what is it? And he said, well, you're suspended a year. And I was like, a year? You can't talk to anybody in the league. You can't talk to any coach. You can't talk to any player. It was unprecedented.
Your sister said she knew, like, not to contact you for the first couple months you were out. Why?
When you say a year and you're not able to talk to any coach, you're not able to talk to any other player, and you know that the league office actually contacted 2 other owners to talk to Mr. Benson about finding a way to have you fired, like they are trying to break you.
Why do you think they wanted you fired?
I know I just know that the late Mr. Benson, to his credit, came to me and said I had just gotten 2 calls from 2 other league owners, and I knew that came from the league office. I remember getting back that year, being at the owners' meetings, having a chance to go over to, it would be normal to go over and say hello to another owner and another team, and having a chance to go over and say hello to the one owner and thanking him for all the support in a way where he looked and then said, you're welcome, and then finding the other owner and doing the same thing, and it just felt good to sit back down.
They knew you knew.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Explain how you got Bill Parcells to help with the 6th grade
We had a tough team we were playing. He's like, you got to penetrate the gaps. How do they align the guard?
In Depth with Graham Bensinger is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places.
Hey! Chuck Norris? Can you sign my Tacoma?
I'll be glad to.
From the fist of a legend rises a new action star. A hero who's there to save the day and the night. So fearless, so rugged, he's tough as Chuck.
You replaced me with a truck?
Toyota, let's go places.
In a world in need of integrity, Fox 47 presents a team of superheroes that will rule your daytime. The League of Justice, bringing truth, compassion, humor to a city yearning for fairness, led by the masked crusader Judge Millian.
What business do you have having a minor who's 16 go with you instead of her parents? You're a grown man.
People's Court puts naughty people in their place.
Up until this point, had you heard anything about you having a daughter?
Then Paternity Court saves the day by finding out who is your daddy.
I'll dismiss your case and throw you out. Got it?
The Mighty Mathis.
You're lucky they didn't file charges against you, because quite frankly, if I were the deputy DA in the case, I would have filed a hate crime against you and I would have sought state prison.
And the sizzling New York hot bench lays the trail for the Queen of the Court, Judge Judy.
Because you were being paid in cash that you weren't reporting.
The League of Justice rules weekdays on Fox 47.
Matt, I think I got my fantasy nights mixed up. Hey, Bill.
Hey, Matt.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
You sure?
Yeah.
Snickers satisfies.
In Depth with Graham Bensinger is brought to you by Pepsi. Pepsi, the official soft drink of the NFL.
Yeah, this question's for Sean Payton during your guys' big interview day. I'm over here at Q School just trying to grind it out in life while you guys are off living the dream. Just how many Super Bowls do you think you have right now if you actually did trade for Tony Romo?
Look, we never know the answer. I do know that Drew has a Super Bowl and you don't have any. All right, Bill wasn't going to let me trade for you anyway. Remember, he asked me to have a cup of warm milk and take a nap.
I think he's an excellent teacher. I think he's a phenomenal motivator.
Let's say they just scored and he coming over here huffing and puffing, chest out. I want to stop right now. And we're like, man, if you don't get your crazy ass away from us, man.
He has a saying that says, don't eat the cheese. Don't believe all this stuff that people are feeding you, how great you are and all this other stuff.
He wants to take the chance, you know, push the edge. And I think that has really served him very well throughout his career.
I think he can see things for what they are and not what he'd like them to be. Only experience can get you that mentality.
You're out. You transition your energy to coaching your son's then sixth grade team. Fun?
Absolutely. I remember feeling like I needed them, that group of sixth graders, more than they ever needed me.
Really?
Absolutely.
How so?
Just in a place to go, and a place to teach, and a place to coach, and a new focus to direct energy and attention. And you know, you're coaching. You know, you have a playbook, and it's something that took me away from New York, from the Saints, from the NFL, from all the things that was causing you angst.
Explain how you got Bill Parcells to help with the sixth grade team.
We had a tough team we were playing. Man, I'd never really spent a lot of time defending this single wing. He's like, you got to penetrate the gaps. How do they align the guard? You know, he's asking me these questions. I'm looking at this blurry DVD that a parent's taken.
I could tell he was kind of into what he was doing, and I was happy that he had some kind of alternative measure there. It was like a new world for him.
Despite his intense coaching schedule, Peyton makes it a point to catch every one of his son's high school football games. We accompanied him on a private flight from New Orleans to Texas and back again so he'd be ready for preseason cuts the next day.
Usually the game starts at 7, tonight starts at 7:30. They're playing a good team. Okay. You will see Friday night lights tonight. It's a small town, everything in the town will be shut down.
How does your excitement for this compare to when you're coaching?
It's a lot like last night with Megan. There's nothing more exciting than just watching your children grow up. I'd probably grab a hot dog and just go sit and really remove myself from being the coach and just really watch him. Those are those proud moments.
So how was the game?
Man, it was a hard-fought game. The team they played tonight, Melissa, was real good.
How did your son play?
He played well. He played about 30 snaps. He's still coming off his knee injury, but it was good to see him playing and staying healthy and staying upright.
Where do we go from here?
So we go back to the airport. We should get to New Orleans 12:30, and then tomorrow morning we have to continue with our cut downs.
The last couple of days were a lot of fun. Thanks for having us.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it. We'll try to catch up on some sleep now.
We can't let anyone else get hurt on our property.
I don't want anyone to ever get hurt.
Me too, baby, but we gotta get real.
What?
You monster! The motto of The Simpsons is, quit while you're ahead.
I made it into a sampler. Weird.
I wet my arm pants.
Dad, come in the kitchen quick.
Is there any other way to enter a kitchen? Oh.
Let me freshen that up for you.
Soda? Woohoo! Underpants dinner!
No, it's not.
Oh, glasses smell like the last guy who wore them had pizza. We'll be sued into the poorhouse and have to eat garbage forever.
That's no problem. Mom can make garbage taste great.
Take your number 2 pencil and...
What kind of pencil do we take again?
Number 2. Take a number 2.
Looks like you took a big number 2.
Aw, I'm writing on my shirt.
Where is the Bart the Simpson?
I am the Bart.
Very good, Bart.
Simpsons, weeknights at 11 on Fox 47.
This week, we're in Philadelphia with Billie Jean King, pioneer for equal rights and one of the most influential figures in sports history.
You have to win. You have to win.
During our 2014 interview, the 39 Grand Slam title winner reflects on the years she dominated tennis.
We got a 45-pound gift voucher.
For winning Wimbledon.
For winning Wimbledon.
The indescribable pressure of her Battle of the Sexes match.
Rosie says if you lost, that she believes it would have set women back 20 years.
I totally agree.
And the profound effect her victory had on newly passed legislation.
It just shifted. I wanted the hearts and minds of people to match up with the legislation.
In 1981, she continued breaking down barriers after publicly admitting she was gay.
Some people thought I said it was a mistake because I was with a woman, and that's not what I meant at all.
Right.
I meant monogamy.
Going on to earn a Medal of Freedom for her fight to gain women's and LGBT rights, King describes the tennis league she helped create.
When a child comes to watch a match, he or she is watching boys and girls, men and women, cooperating.
And how she even inspired close friend Sir Elton John.
We have the best signature sports song in our Philadelphia Freedoms team than any team in any sport.
Well, obviously, it's Elton John.
I know, but he did it for us.
And later, I get a one-on-one lesson at the Villanova campus just before one of King's World Team Tennis tournaments.
I just had my first professional tennis lesson with none other than Billie Jean King. How'd I do?
You did great. You have terrific hand-eye coordination, so you've got to go out and play more. Just when you're home in St. Louis, go to Forest Park and start playing.
I will play more.
Promise?
I promise.
I'll check up on you.
I'm Graham Bensinger.
And this is In Depth.
Tell about how you first heard of tennis in the first place.
Well, I'm sitting in 5th grade next to Susan Williams, and she looks at me and goes, "Do you want to play tennis?" And I go, "What's tennis?" And she says, "You don't know about tennis?" I said, "No." I said, "What do you do?" She says, "You get to run, jump, and hit a ball." And I go, "Whoa, those are my 3 most favorite things in sports. I'll try it." And then I went home and told my dad and mom, "God, I really like this. This is really fun. And can I get a, could you get me a racket?" My dad said,
they didn't want to buy you
No,
one.
my dad said no. And I said, "Why? I like it." He says, "How much do you like it?" I said, "I really like it. I mean, I think I even love it maybe." He says, "Fine, find a way to buy a racket. You figure it out. You really want it, you figure it out." So I went to the neighbors and pleaded with them, and they gave me quarters, and when I had like $8.29 up in the cupboard in a mason jar. I couldn't wait any longer. I was too antsy. And my dad and mom took me to Brown's sporting goods store in Long Beach, and the salesperson comes up and he says, "What can I do for you?" I said, "What does $8.29 buy?" And of course I bought it by color. The strings were lavender, and the throat of the racket was white and lavender, and it had a felt lavender handle. I just loved that racket.
Was it a good
and
one?
I slept with, no, it was very low line, didn't matter. I didn't know the difference.
Yeah. To what extent do you think the fact that you were maybe a little less advantaged than some of your friends and your peers gave you more drive growing
I think it
up?
gave me more drive, yeah. But also, you know what I've really realized now that I'm much older and can look back and appreciate things in a different light, is that my mom and dad actually brought us up in a way that we were hungry, and never went hungry, but we were hungry. We had fire in the belly, my brother and I. And I think it's because we just weren't given everything right away, and my parents were very strict but very loving. But the best thing my mother ever did was she sat down with me when I was about 10 or 11 and showed me a budget. She went through it line item by line, and item by item, and I went, oh my gosh. So she said, when we tell you kids no, it's not that we don't want to give it to you, it's we can't usually afford it. So if we say no to you, it means we probably can't afford it.
You said you really did not like the amateur side of tennis. You called it the shamateurism.
Absolutely.
Or
I
you
got in
called it
big trouble.
shamateurism. Explain the issue that you had with that.
Well, as amateurs, the people who ran the tournament were also the officials that made the rules. And we would make $14 a day.
For winning your first Wimbledon, is it true you got 0 prize money and one of your friends bought you like 6 Mars bars?
Yeah, well, that was Lynn Abbott got me 6 Mars because I loved their candy over there is great. But we got a 45-pound gift voucher.
For winning Wimbledon.
For winning Wimbledon.
In 1970, King and 8 other players signed a $1 contract, creating a union that allowed them to compete for more money. 3 years later, King created the Women's Tennis Association, which now has more than 2,500 players.
Explain the purpose behind breaking away from the tennis establishment and how that ultimately positively impacted women's tennis.
My heart and mind, of course, I wanted the men and women together. I always wanted us to be one association, be one union. The men rejected us. And they're all my friends that I went dancing with, had dinner with, you know, that was hard to take because they didn't want to be with us because they want the money for themselves. And that's when 9 of us got together in 1970 and with Gladys Hellman and signed a $1 contract with Gladys Hellman.
And how did that ultimately progress the women's game?
They had the money. You got to remember, there's no infrastructure. We want to have a tour next year, right?
Right. I mean, you guys are some of the best in the world in breakaway
how do we
go out on your own.
How can we go play? There's no tournaments. We had to go get people to promote a tournament, which is very high risk. It's extremely high risk. You can lose everything. Nobody had any idea what was going to happen. Right. We got people in all these cities, so we could have at least a series, a Virginia Slim series it was called in the beginning, because we didn't have it. And it was amazing. Thinking back that this all actually unfolded and actually happened.
Rosie says if you lost, that she believes it would have set women back 20 years.
I totally agree.
In Depth with Graham Bensinger is brought to you by AT&T. AT&T, more for your thing. That's our thing.
First tattoo?
Yeah.
Relax, amigo. It's gonna look okay.
Only okay?
No worries, boss. I'm one of the tattoo artists in the city.
You mean one of the best tattoo artists in the city, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Aren't you supposed to draw it first?
Stay in your lane, bro.
Just okay is not okay, especially when it comes to your network. AT&T is America's best wireless network according to America's biggest test. Now with 5GE, more for your thing. That's our thing.
Coors Light is cold packaged. For peak refreshment. The world's most refreshing beer, Coors Light.
entered the Last Fan Standing Fan Challenge and competed with 25 other people in a screening marathon. There was trivia elimination challenges.
Ladies and gentlemen, we crown the champion of Last Fan Standing,
For this episode, I get to work as an outdoor man HR employee. When I first saw Tim Allen on set, it was pretty awesome because obviously I've been a huge fan. Talking to Jay Leno was pretty cool. He's always telling a joke.
The first time you walk on a set, it's all very strange. You're there to act. You need to stand just in this exact spot at this exact time and you know, deliver this line. From a background point of view, I mean, they have to deal with the exact same thing. Background actors, they create the world that makes it feel alive on TV.
Comedian and stunt performer Steve-O opens up about his dark battle with addiction on the next In Depth with Graham Bensinger. In Depth with Graham Bensinger is brought to you by Pepsi. Pepsi, the official soft drink of the NFL.
What would you say were your first kind of 15 minutes of fame when you were growing up?
Probably when I upset Margaret Smith in 1962. She was seeded #1.
In Wimbledon,
In
right?
Wimbledon, first round. And the Time magazine was calling me and all these. I didn't know I didn't understand anything. What's going on?
Right.
I think that's probably my first 15 minutes of fame.
Billie Jean King's Hall of Fame career includes 39 Grand Slam titles, but it was her match against a man, 55-year-old Bobby Riggs, that became one of the most significant sporting events of all time. Dubbed the Battle of the Sexes, it pitted King against the former world #1 and helped in changing the social landscape for women.
Battle of the Sexes. When you took on Bobby Riggs, obviously it captivated the nation. What a lot of people don't know, though, or fail to remember, is that he actually played another female tennis player prior to you, in Margaret Court, and beat her. When I guess she originally decided to play Riggs, you had a conversation with her.
I know exactly
how did the
what
conversation
it was in
go?
the elevator at the Virginia Slims of Detroit, and she announced to me that they're playing, that they're going to play this match. And I go, oh, Margaret, do you know what you've done?
Mm-hmm.
I tried to explain to her what it meant about social change. And,
right.
But you got to understand this elevator discussion, so I had to talk pretty fast. I said, whatever you do, please win. You have to win. You have to win. Because all I could see was the tour going bye-bye after all this work.
Right.
Her, you know, just people saying, why should we even care about the women? And I was just saying all these things that could happen. I was just mortified. I was petrified.
And then she loses.
As soon as I heard that she lost, I go, I'm going to have to play him now. It's exactly what I said. I'm going to have to play him now.
On September 20th, 1973, an estimated 50 million watched as King faced off against Riggs at the Houston Astrodome. The subject of several films, including a 2017 movie starring Emma Stone and Steve Carell, King's victory is considered one of the major milestones in the women's movement.
What were your emotions going into the arena
calm.
that night?
I had to stay calm.
Calm?
Everything, I had to be absolutely in the zone. One ball at a time. In the beginning, I was going to play my game. I was going to serve volley. I was going to be real aggressive. But what I decided to do was going to hit the ball. Decided I was going to hit the ball slowly as I could, as softly as I could, and then I was going to run him at least 5 points. Whether I won or lost the point didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to run him into the ground.
After you end up winning the match, Sports Illustrated's Frank DeFord said, you'll likely go down as the most significant athlete of the century, more significant than Babe Ruth, Muhammad Ali, even Jackie Robinson. And another article said your closest cultural kin are not athletes, but people like Martin Luther King Jr., Hugh Hefner, and the Beatles, people associated with
really?
a movement that affects great change because of the impact that match had on the women's movement. But how did women react to you
well,
after that match?
Well, actually, men and women have reacted fantastically well. The women come up to me. And what it did for them is it gave them courage and self-confidence to ask for what they want and need. For instance, let's say, a raise.
Well, but people forget 1973, and I was shocked to learn this. Women couldn't even get credit cards without the signature of a man.
Male, yeah, we had to co-sign.
1 year prior to King's victory, Congress passed the groundbreaking Title IX. The new law required equal funding for men and women in any education program receiving federal assistance.
So Rosie says if you lost, that she believes it would have set women back 20 years.
I totally agree.
Really?
No. Oh.
I mean, that much?
Oh, you have. See, you're so young. You don't realize. You don't know what was. You can't get the flavor of what was going on. There were marriages that happened because of that match. There was 100 million people in the world saw that. That was a lot in those days.
How concerned were you about its impact on Title IX had you lost?
Very. In fact, I was more worried about that.
Why?
Because I wanted the hearts and minds to start. Okay, you can have legislation, but if people don't believe it in their hearts and minds, they'll get around it. And they're still trying to get around it, okay? Girls' high school today, right today, it's exactly where the boys were in 1971 and 72. Okay? People think we've caught up. We're not caught up. We're not even close, but it just shifted. I wanted the hearts and minds and people to match up with the legislation. I think it's a civil rights issue of the 21st century. It's still not safe.
In Depth with Graham Bensinger is brought to you by Chevy. Chevy has earned J.D. Power Dependability Awards across cars, trucks, and SUVs.
Thanks for coming today. So some of you are Honda owners and some of you are Toyota owners, right?
Yep. Yes.
Would you be surprised to hear that Honda is the most reliable car company?
No. Honda's reliable.
Well, it's actually not Honda.
Really? Whoa! What?
Toyota! I mean, I knew in my heart Toyota is one of the best brands out there.
It's actually not Toyota either.
Chevy. It's Chevy.
You had me bragging.
Based on a nationwide survey, Chevy is more reliable than Honda and Toyota.
Wow.
I'm so impressed.
Chevy's killing it.
You're the only guy I've ever heard say you're not a good athlete. The girls tell me that all the time, but not guys.
I have zero athletic ability.
Yeah, you start from nothing, you can't lose.
Right, exactly.
At least you're a nice guy. Most guys say they're really good.
Yeah, who would say they're really good when you're on a court with
all
Billie
kinds
Jean
of guys.
Every superhero has their kryptonite.
Gentlemen.
Girls.
Hey guys, I just got the most amazing news.
Mothers.
Mommy needs a football.
Of course.
The common cold. Rub Vicks on my chest.
You can rub your own chest.
Rub every other man on the planet, but draw the line with me.
The Big Bang Theory, 5 nights a week.
Weeknights at 6 and 7 on Fox 47.
I feel empowered.
You get car sick a lot? I'll tell you what it is, you can't read in the car.
Or is it that I'm being kidnapped? I was someone the world thought they could throw away.
Explain to me why you need a kid. You know the people we work for, you can't cross them.
I would have been all alone if it wasn't for Brad Wolgast.
New plan. We gotta find someplace safe. Problem is, there's gonna be some bad guys looking for us.
Okay.
Okay?
I trust you. He risked everything to protect me. We became family.
I know he's your friend.
Doesn't matter.
These people are never gonna stop me.
We saw them change everything.
You might be the most important little girl in the world.
And I was afraid. I wish I knew then what I know now. That they should be afraid of me.
The Passage premieres this Monday on Fox.
Coors Light is cold packaged. For peak refreshment. The world's most refreshing beer. Coors Light.
In Depth with Graham Bensinger is brought to you by Coors Light. Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Billie Jean King married college sweetheart Larry King in 1965. 6 years into their marriage, she began a relationship with her secretary, Marilyn Barnett. The affair ended by 1981, but a palimony suit filed by Barnett forced King to publicly admit she was gay.
I want to take you back to that press conference.
Okay, in 81, yes.
What do you recall from it?
I recall everyone being very tense. Everybody couldn't figure out what, You could hear a pin drop when I said I did have an affair with Marlon Babette, the whole meeting, because I knew all these people. It's not like I didn't have history with most of them.
Right.
But I told the truth and I said I made a mistake, but I didn't make. Some people misconstrued what I meant. I believe in monogamy, nothing to do with the gay thing.
Right.
I think some people thought I said it was a mistake because I was with a woman, and that's not what I meant at all.
Right.
I meant monogamy.
Right.
And if I knew what I know now, I would have made that clear.
And it must have seemingly been difficult having to tell your husband about what happened, but you mentioned you were raised in a homophobic household.
That's, I mean, let's face it, I was homophobic. I still catch myself once in a while getting a little lurch in my gut and going, it still raises,
Really?
Of course, because you grow up in this environment. You know, we're in the 21st century. It's very different. I mean, every 5 years it gets better in the United States, but not in Russia, not in other. I mean, they've okayed hate now. I mean, I notice it. I think it's the civil rights issue of the 21st century. That and gender are the two big ones. Science is probably throwing in there, environment, that type of thing. This is the 21st century. This is what we got to figure out. But it's an amazing. It's still not safe. It doesn't feel safe all the time.
You were honored in the past few years by President Obama with the Medal of Freedom.
Oh, what a great day.
What do you recall from that?
Well, I never expected it. I would have appreciated it because I know Arthur Ashe had gotten one, and then I realized no woman athlete had gotten one, which was not good. So it's good news. It's nice to be the first, but then it makes me sad in that why weren't someone like Althea or other women that I knew in other sports as well hadn't gotten one. I'm not sitting there because I did it. It's because everybody helped get me there. Yeah, I had to go do certain things, but it's really a team effort. Everything's a team effort when you think about it. That's why I like team.
What are your thoughts on the state of American tennis today?
We're not doing well. We're not growing the game anymore like we need to. We're kind of aging, and we need to get the young ones to play.
How do you fix American tennis, though?
Well, I think Milan World Team Tennis is part of that. We only in 7 cities. We need to be more cities. I think you have to see it to be it. I got to see Althea Gibson, and I saw that's how good I have to be. In fact, I'll probably have to be better than that because every generation I knew by then got better. See, to me, I know every generation is going to get better.
And so it's not that way for today's players?
Unfortunately, there's politics which get in the way, but we're insistent. Like we're putting money into Hunting Park, for instance, in Philly, because we know it'll help improve the community. We want to make a difference in the community as well, not just our 3-4 weeks we play. That's when we're showcasing, and the kids come out and get inspired. They come out and watch the best players in the world. Those children can say, I want to play for my hometown team. They may take up tennis and have it for the rest of their lives. We need players in the pipeline who are going to be stars. We know if we didn't have Serena right now, and Venus and some of the women, we don't have anything. He takes me over to Elton, he sits me down and goes, Elton, this is Billy. Billy, this is Elton. Start talking.
In Depth with Graham Bensinger is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places.
Tag.
You're it.
Toyota, let's go places.
We never give up hope.
Should be fun. I'll lead.
We're breaking waves, shooting stars. We live for glory, not forever.
You don't leave me, and I don't leave you.
We are going to show you the dawn of a new age.
What's your hair? We haven't got any hair.
Oh my God!
Look into these beautiful hazel eyes.
How can I resist?
Woo! Run! Oh! Snap!
That sounds like fun.
Each week, he takes you around the world for unlimited access to legends.
You should play the Terminator.
And future legends.
I'm just getting started.
In Depth with Graham Bensinger.